This could be the greatest night of our lives. But you're gonna let it be the worst. Oh, we're afraid to go with you, Pluto. We might get in trouble. Well, just kick my ass from now on! Not me! I'm not gonna take this! Warner, he's a dead man! Marmalade, dead! Niedermeyer, dead! Let's do it. Let's do it!
We're so glad to see so many of you lovely people here tonight, and we would especially like to welcome all the representatives of Illinois' law enforcement community who have chosen to join us here in the Palace Hotel ballroom at this time. We do sincerely hope you all enjoy the show, and please remember, people, that no matter who you are and what you do to live, thrive, and survive, there are still some things that make us all the same. You, me, them, everybody. Everybody. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody to love. Someone to love. Someone to love. Sweetheart to miss. Sweetheart to miss. Sugar to kiss. Sugar to kiss. I need you, you, you. I need you, you, you. I need you, you, you. In the morning, when my soul's on fire. Sometimes I feel a little sad inside. When my baby mistreats me, I never run away like I do. Sometimes I feel a little sad inside. When my baby mistreats me, I never run away like I do. I need you, I need you, You know, people, when you do find somebody, hold that woman, hold that man, love him, please him, squeeze her, please her. Hold, squeeze, and please that person, give him all your love. Signify your feelings with every gentle caress, because it's so important to have that special somebody to hold, kiss, miss, squeeze, and please. Everybody needs somebody. Everybody needs somebody. Someone to love. Sweetheart to miss. Sugar to kiss. I need you, you, you. 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 I need you.
Ah, buddies, it's the Ron and Fez show. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Earl tells me 25 years ago since John Belushi got cold on us. 25 years to the day. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it just seems like, I mean, it's one of those days where you know exactly what you were doing and you know exactly where you were.
Well, you're a lot older than me. I was just a child then. I was probably having milk and cookies with the other kids in my class.
Oh, no. How did they break it to you?
It is the Ron and Fez show. I'm Ron, there's Fez.
Hiya, buddies.
How you doing today, Fez?
Doing very good, thank you.
Well, you're the only one. Now everyone else has your sickness. And I talked to quite a few people. Anyone who bumped into Typhoid Watley at O'Looney's that night finds themselves incredibly sick.
Well, I did not mean to be a carrier.
You are a carrier, and that's not the only thing.
So I still working on a little phlegm over the weekend.
Nobody cares about you. You went out and gave it out. My chick is so sick, and all she kept saying is, why did Typhoid Fairy have to come over here Oscar night? She's completely pissed at you right now. I know that Dawn is sick. Patrick is sick. Tracy had to go to the hospital. Even, I hate to say, but me and Brad are going to have to go see somebody. Those guys are sick. And it's everybody that bumped into you at a Looney's after the gig. Why, when you know you're sick, can you not stay in?
Well, at that point, I didn't know I was sick. I mean, I had a cough going. I thought maybe I had just blown out my throat or something like that.
Oh.
Maybe, I didn't think, I had no idea at that point it was the walking bronchitis.
All right, it is the Ron and Fez show, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Earl Douglas, did you watch Jesus Tomb last night?
Yes, I did.
What did you think overall? Is that Jesus' box or not?
I would have to say it is not his box.
Based on what?
There's just too many. They just kept too much speculation. Nothing definitive. No DNA. No definitive DNA. I just think.
Well, how are you going to have definitive DNA? What are we going to do? Match it against his what? Well, how could you come up with, here's the DNA of Christ? We don't have the initial DNA, right?
No, we do not.
So what would it take for you to believe that was Jesus' box as well as his wife, and I guess stillborn? I don't know what happened with that little baby theirs, but they lost their little son somewhere along the line. A little tiny tomb. What is it for you, Earl? Nothing would have worked, right?
No.
So why watch the show?
No, I mean I watched it. I mean because again I was more curious than anything else.
At no point could any evidence that they could have came up with would you have believed, right?
There was like various areas where like the inscription writings, but once they started getting into that name really meant this name and this name really meant that name and this was translated. I mean it started to lose me there, and then I'm like okay, and then. They went back to dig for the tomb again, and they couldn't find it. I was just like...
Well, they did find it. Did you stay with it the whole time?
Yeah. I stayed with it the whole time, and then they were digging, and then they found a separate tomb, and then it just kind of lost me along the way, probably like 3/4 of the way through it.
Well, they did find it. They actually went back to that tomb. They did find it. Daniel, you're on Ron and Fez show.
Hey, you can walk into any Catholic church and get Christ's blood. They give it out by the cupful.
Well, the only way that really works is once it's in your mouth. It does not work when it's in the bottle or anything. It has to actually be drank to be actually the blood of Christ. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. And then I assume if you spit it back out, again, it returns the wine. Bruce, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ron, why don't you think they tried to match the DNA up with the DNA on the death shroud?
The shroud that Da Vinci painted?
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
The drop cloth.
Here's Jacob. Jacob, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, man, I want to ask Earl why there weren't any baby dinosaur bones in the coffin.
Earl, that is an interesting thing. And I felt the same way about Ted Koppel. That he's pushing, where's your proof? But no one ever pushes for that proof with the biblical people. So, on one hand, I thought it was pretty cool just that people started talking about it. But after all these years, the churches are now asking for physical evidence for the first time in their 2,000-year history. Now they need scientific proof. How come none of that other stuff works for you, Earl?
No, it was just, I mean, I know they had, they were following patterns and they were using, various theories and various, probabilities and all of this
You didn't understand it, right?
Part of it was just so far over my head.
I appreciate it. What about you, Fez? Did you believe or no?
I was totally buying into it. I think it's Jesus' tomb.
Seriously, or are you just doing a bit?
No, I think it's Jesus' tomb. I think the combination of names that they had all together, where you had a Jesus, son of Joseph, you had his brothers' names that were in there, you had two Marys. I think it all totally fits.
Rob, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Hey, I'm agreeing with Earl here, just for the fact that I watched it, and if you've seen the end there, where Ted Koppel was talking to all of them at once, they even said that most of the people that they talked to, they were pulling out of it. They didn't their story.
I don't. You know what? I did not see the benefit of that. He said that after the fact. But the only time that I saw them was on the show. So if this was a court of law, they would be the ones that had the hearsay, not the people with the film.
They said that they cut a lot of the stuff out of the tape where these guys were saying, no, this isn't it.
I am going to agree that this place set out to say that they have somewhat of an agenda to say this is... the tomb of Christ. That they didn't go into it thinking, let's try to prove it's the tomb of Christ. Or they actually did go into it, not saying, what is this place, but let's try to prove this. Matt, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ron. Two things. I think what you just said is exactly right. James Cameron's not going to get on Good Morning America and say, hey, I just spent millions on a documentary. Oh, and by the way, it's not the Tomb of Christ. Don't watch. And second, is there actually any historical proof that there was a Christ? I'm not a man of faith.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know.
I mean, obviously you don't have a driver's license, but there are records of this outside of the biblical records.
I guess Roman history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there definitely there honestly was a man called Christ who was a rabbi. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Here is Kendall. Kendall, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron, it's always funny to me because this seems to be the one thing that gets attacked most of all to try to disprove Christianity. And as a Christian, I've called you guys before. I used to be a preacher. I don't think that would destroy Christianity. If it did turn out that Christ had a wife and kid, I don't see where that completely destroys all of his teachings.
Well, you know what? I think that if you're really going to look at this scientifically or in a historical sense, it's a real big jump to go, well, does this have anything to do with his teachings? I think that if you were really to get into this, and that's why I disagree with Fez, that I think it's definitely true, and I kind of disagree with Earl that it's definitely not. I don't think you're at that point. And I don't think it's anywhere close to the point, does this help to prove or disprove his points. Just like in the same way, let's suppose you found a giant boat on the top of a mountain, right? Doesn't necessarily 100% make it Noah's Ark. You would really need to start the scientific study from there and would take some time. But it seems like, and I don't know whether it's today or always, people want to leap right away and say this is it or it's not it.
I'm always a leaper. Watching this, I was ready to believe it was Jesus' tomb. I still think it was. One of my favorite parts in the documentary last night is when the director was talking to the other guy who was so sure that they had Caiaphas's tomb. And it was definitely the Caiaphas that sentenced Jesus to death, but would not give it up that this could be Jesus' tomb.
Well, because in his belief, his faith, said that Jesus... like a balloon floated into the sky. So you can understand that being a man of faith, it doesn't necessarily make you the perfect historian or the perfect scientist.
And I checked the Bible too on that ascension thing. Mm-hmm. It kept, everywhere I looked for the ascension in the Bible, it kept saying Jesus was taken into heaven. Not so much that he ascended or floated up into heaven, but he was like taken.
Well, why do we always say physically then? That his entire body was.
I don't know where that came from.
Because that's what I've heard my whole life, and I've never heard anyone go, well, that's not necessarily true. Again, you can't worry about it one way or another. Thank you very much for calling, Kendall.
All right, guys.
All right, talk to you later. Here is Dennis. Dennis, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies, how are you?
Good.
It would absolutely destroy modern Christianity and Catholicism. It's based on the central tenet that Jesus came to earth, was born, died on the cross, and was physically resurrected, went to heaven and came back as a physical man, was physically resurrected. Without that, his beliefs are still there, and I certainly, as a Catholic personally, I put his beliefs as more important than the idea of his divinity, and that's not really what Catholicism is about. Catholicism is technically about his divinity, his resurrection, and his triumph over death.
Where are you on that one, Fez?
I think it would really hurt Christianity that there wasn't a physical resurrection. I think that would hurt a lot of people's faith. Let me put it that way. Maybe not so much the church, but it hurt a lot of people's faith.
I disagree, because I think very little of the faith thing is based on historical fact or science to begin with. You know what I'm
true,
saying?
Ron, but when the body is there, when the body's not there, you can make all the conjecture that you want, and people can believe what they want. But if the body is there, there's going to be a lot of people who you tell, well, Jesus died and went to hell, was raised up, and they're going to say, yeah, but then what's that body doing there? What's that corpse doing there, just as dead as anybody, as my grandmother? Anybody
the reality
else?
of it is this: if you're being scientific and historical, are the chances better that that's his coffin, or that he somehow leaped physically through space into a dimension? I mean, if you were just going by logic, you could not be a follower of any of the biblical stories.
That's not true. I don't think that's true. I think that, and I agree with
floods
you.
And people inside whales, and that there was a time where all the animals were nice and kissing each other.
People, I don't know how they do, but they do. Ron, the people walk around every day. My father-in-law is an extreme. My uncle-in-law, I guess, is a bishop. My father is extremely, extremely religious. But he doesn't walk around thinking that, for example, I've had arguments that the rain is made by some old guy crying or sprinkling, or that thunder is like, angels. So people can find a way to have beliefs in science in certain things in everyday life, and yet maintain. Well,
that's my point. They have already decided to take the leap away from logic and science into faith, and I do not think that this would change that for anybody. Thanks a lot, Dennis. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. What did you think of Koppel after the fact?
With that show, when they had the scientists there against the guys who did the movie, I thought one thing that kept coming up that wasn't a very strong argument was, well, you use dramatizations to get people more on your side. The
religious people use that as well.
Yeah, and I just thought that was, I didn't think that was such a valid point. I mean, I understand where they're saying you're trying to trick people, I guess, by showing dramatizations into your point. But to me,
I do not think it helped them at all to do that. But it is traditional for people to do it. If you watch the Discovery Channel, and you're going to watch anything about Julius Caesar, they always go to those dramatizations. If you're going to watch anything about Christ, we've seen a million of those before. The fact that he couldn't defend himself, going that this is the tradition of this type of documentary, I thought was very stupid on his part. But if I was doing this piece, I wouldn't have done it. If I was trying to prove my point, no. It's fucking babyish to act like, oh, you're too stupid to understand words, so I'm going to have some actors pretend. Since you can't understand a man on the cross, I'm going to take extra time out of this documentary and put a guy up there. As a matter of fact, I thought they wasted a lot of time in the 2-hour documentary, going around like, well, this first thing didn't work, so we went to the other. I think they could have done a lot more facts. Smoke, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, I miss Quarantine Fez. Hey, Fez, it does say in the Bible that Jesus ascended into heaven. It's in the Lord's Prayer.
All right, I don't recall it being in the Lord's Prayer at all.
He says he ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the God Father Almighty.
All right, that's the creed, and that's not in the Bible.
And then the other part of that, ascended how? It doesn't say physically ascended. You may believe it to be physically ascended, but it doesn't necessarily mean that was the image at first. Troy, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Earl. Just the punching out.
Boy, what's it like to be stupid? Ads got to be bad. Steve, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Fez. How you doing today?
Yeah.
I have a rebuttal to Kendall and kind of an answer to your question as to why they're asking for DNA on this situation. In the Catholic religion, I believe priests are modeled after the Jesus image of him not being married and not having any children. And for 2,000 years, that was the belief. Now,
well, that's not necessarily true. For many, many centuries, priests could marry. So, the reason why they stopped marrying is because of, like everything else, money. That some of these women were that were married to the priest, like in when the priest died, it was their assets. A lot of people started to follow the women. So there's always been a misogynistic thing to the Catholic Church, but it has not been the full time that a priest could not marry.
Well, that opens my eyes to something I didn't know over the many years of catechism. But I would believe that the DNA testing that you asked about earlier, the reason they would ask that is if they can disprove that those are the bones of Jesus.
Well, the thing is, they do.
With that original belief.
This is the fucking thing. They went and dumped these things like idiots to begin with. They went and dumped them out into some big mass grave and kept the boxes back in 1980. They did not, and nobody's screaming about that. You know, can you imagine that this is where we went with it?
Yeah, thinking they're doing the right thing. Let's put everything in a bag and bury it in a potter's field.
Kyle, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was saying, if this is his tomb, isn't it better to know for a fact that Jesus did exist? I mean, no one knows for sure if he truly existed. It's all a leap of faith that the man existed.
No, I disagree with that. It is a matter of historical record that he did exist. I've never heard it ever said that, you know, this could, like it's a Paul Bunyan thing. It's closer to being like Julius Caesar, where we don't know exactly what we look like, but we know for a fact there was a Julius Caesar. Here is Jason. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey guys, they had a statistician on last night that said he was even conservative. Said it's 1 to 2.5 million chances that it was not Jesus' tomb.
That's
like if you figured out all the names and everything.
No, that's not true. That wasn't in the documentary. It was a 600 to 1 shot that it was him, right?
Right.
That was after he took out some other things, but he took out the brother's name and like another Mary, and it was like 1 in 6.8 billion. Then he got it to 1.25 billion. Then he got really conservative and said it's a 1 in 600 chance that it wasn't.
Well, it couldn't have been in the billions because there wasn't that many people then.
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't even make sense what you're saying. So, no, the statistician was on the side of the filmmakers. But again, I do think that it's not the end of the story, and that people ought to sit back and kick it around a little bit. Crystal, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Okay. I'm just wondering, as a Catholic, we also believe, well, I know like your Catholic schools and stuff, we also celebrated the Ascension of Mary.
Right.
So I'm kind of confused about that whole thing. I mean, I don't, personally, being older now, I don't believe anyway that, you know, Christ actually physically ascended. Maybe a spiritual thing, but then how do they, you know, account for the Ascension of Mary as well? I don't know. I'm confused. Explain it
The
for me.
Lutherans believe that Mary physically ascended as well, Fez?
I was never taught that. I never knew that one.
It's actually celebrated in May, I believe. It's a Catholic holiday, the Ascension of Mary, the Holy Ascension. And I believe it's in May. But I remember being in Catholic schools where, you know, we all went outside and released balloons and symbolism and all that crap.
Right.
But I'm just wondering.
Say again, that goes back. They ascended like balloons. Sheepy was right. By the way, Sheepy did not watch this thing at all. Oh, the Friday night, we went out to party after the show. Fez, you went home early. I left about 1 o'clock. Everything seemed to be fine. Apparently, Dave stayed to about 4 o'clock, and people started sending me drunken, sweaty pictures of the act that fucker was putting on 4 o'clock in the morning in that bar 9. What time did you leave, Earl?
I left a little before 2 a.m.
And how was he behaving then?
He was grabbing me quite inappropriately. He was grabbing my ass and my crotch a lot.
Eastside Dave was?
Yes. And I was just like, okay, that's officially the end of my night. I'm going home.
See, when I left at 1 o'clock in the morning, gentleman, he's introducing me to his friends from Jersey, had it all together, was basically holding court out front. And I'm like, well, you know, how great. Eastside Dave's having a lovely night. An hour after I'm gone, the ball grabbing starts. And then 2 hours after that, just a sweaty, ass-cracked mess, making a maniac out of himself.
That's the thing, he always complains about other people. Like, he was bitching about Mooch being inappropriate and grabbing people. Then he does it himself.
He was trying to essentially hump me at one point. He just
Eastside Dave?
Yeah, at one point he just like grabs me from behind. And I'm like, just totally freaked out. I was like, Dave, this is completely inappropriate. And I was like, and at that point I was like, you know what? That's the end of my night because he was hammered.
Just give him what he wants, Earl.
Bull, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, guys, I want to make a statement, a quick question to Fez. You can take any subject matter, like you said earlier, Ron, and decide, all right, this is what I'm going to put out to the public, this is what I'm going to make them believe, and you can show all the points to make the people believe that. And that's essentially what they did. And the question I wanted to ask was to Fez. Fez, what would be the big windfall if they did definitively prove that was Caiaphas's tomb?
Well, I guess the windfall would be that there was a Caiaphas, that he existed, and, you know, just another factor along with the Jesus story.
So there would be no downfall or windfall to anyone's religion. That's the thing. He's quicker to assume something like that because it's not going to hurt anyone's religion. But for him to step forward and say, yes, this is Jesus' tomb, that would be a huge statement to say, and he's not going to be as quick to say it. That's the problem.
Well, you know, here's the thing that you also have to do, Bull. When you're saying somebody is always trying to sell you something or give you something, right? You still have a critical mind. They cannot force you to go along with what they're saying. And I think that you always should ask yourself, what's in it for this person if I agree with them? Am I buying a product? Am I, you know, joining up for something? Whatever it fucking happens to be. But
in this
to me,
the product you're buying is this guy's film, and that's what he.
Well, no, you're getting that one for free. But yeah, he did make a big thing about it. But at the same time, the people that are disagreeing with him, the religious people, and there were several different churches, they've got a lot of money at stake too.
Right.
The church, I mean, as very few filmmakers will ask you for 10% of your fucking income. You know what I mean? So there is a whole lot of financial reason for the church to hold on to you. I mean, can you imagine joining anything else that they would ask for 10% of what you did? And no matter what it was, they're not even asking like, okay, it costs, you know, $4,000 a year to join this spa, but if you get a raise, I want you to start paying more money. I mean, there's an incredible amount of money in the religious business too. Thanks, Bull.
Sure it is.
All right, take care, my friend. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. John, you're on Fez.
Hey there, Ronnie. Hey, Fezzy.
Yeah.
Hey, what I want to say is that this doesn't change anything that Christ said at all, and it's more of a religious dogma that's in question here. Whether or not few hundred guys in early Christian history who decided what is and what isn't supposed to be in Catholicism, that's the big question is whether or not those guys got things right.
And John, that's a good thing for me too, because if what Jesus said, right, was so important, why didn't he write it down? That's what always gets to me about the Bible, that if it was the written work of Jesus Christ, I would be a lot more interested than I would be a bunch of different people with their take on the subject.
It makes you wonder if he ever learned how.
When you said he's more like Julius Caesar than Paul Bunyan, yeah, but at least Julius Caesar, we have books by Julius Caesar today, you know, so we know exactly how he wrote, we know exactly what he thought about stuff, but yeah, we don't have anything at all that can be dictated exactly from Jesus' mouth to a written word, you know.
To me, and that doesn't seem to bother anybody else. How come it doesn't bother you, Earl?
No, it doesn't bother me because I love the message. I love the overall message, and I love the overall theme of it. And whether or not he actually physically wrote it, or
no, he didn't,
which he did not. Which it was, it's written by Matthew and Mark and Luke and so on and so forth. The message is still the same to me. To me, the message is more important than who actually wrote it down.
Well, not. Yes and no. I agree with you. The story of Christ is a great one. It's a comforting one, I think, to anybody. But why then go back to you have to follow every letter of the Bible? You know what I'm saying? That's where I'll turn and go. This is you're walking into insanity now. Now you're talking crazy talk when you're acting like no word of this book can go in a different way because, again, it's not written by him. He never said this is the exact rules to follow. And he knew about writing. I mean, he had a Bible he walked around with, the Old Testament. Apparently it was important to him. So if he really wanted to add stuff, why didn't he do it?
Almost like he was waiting for word of mouth to go around. You know what I mean? It was like he wasn't going to write his own press or something. Where he wasn't going to be the guy that said all these things that had to be said about him. Maybe he was shy or something.
866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. This is the first one, the shyness of Christ. I've never heard that before, but that's the Lutheran angle. Jim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Fezzy. I'm wondering, is there enough Jesus stuff in this coffin, if it actually is Jesus' coffin, to clone him? And
now we're
that
talking.
way we can ask him what questions we want to know.
I love it.
Start a Jesus army.
I love the angle. And the beauty of it is there's the second coming. Maybe that's the way it was supposed to happen the whole time, scientifically. There's a great little story for you. And, you only need the one little cell, right?
Yeah, you just need one little bit of DNA.
Yeah. The weird thing was they showed a tiny Jesus bone on there last night. That was the only one that they could really find, the bones.
Yeah.
But you saw these little bone chips. And I'm like, well, these guys that are doing this don't seem to be overly, in awe of this. I guess maybe they weren't religious guys. But the one guy was supposed to be... the guy from North Carolina was supposed to be a theologian, and I'm like, you think he'd be up a little more. Lou, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddies. I did not watch Geraldo's El Capone Tomb Part 2 last night. He ruined me years ago. See ya!
Man, what's it like to be stupid? I mean, he actually held on a while, couldn't deliver the fucking line. It's amazing to me. Cameron, you're on Fez.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, real quick point. Yeah, the Bible was written, 400 years after Jesus, which is like 8 generations. You can't tell 20 people today a story and have it go through all 20 people and have it be the same story.
Absolutely not. All you have to do is go back and read the celebrity bios about anybody, whether it's Jack Kennedy, who we've had a lot written on, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, even stuff that's happened in the last 40 years and less. The stories are wildly different. And it always seems to be the guy who wrote the story seems to be setting himself up as the real moral center of that story, if you ever noticed.
A lot of the Gospels are like that, where it's like, here's what really happened with Jesus. And, of course, John calls himself the one that Jesus loved.
James, you're on Fez.
Hello.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I think the problem, Ronnie, is that most people don't realize that the Bible is not, or the New and Old Testament are not to be taken literally, word for word. I think that's an invention of preachers. I believe the message was given to us in a way that we can expand and contract.
If what you're saying is true, I've never heard of another religion who agrees with you. I never heard of another religion who says, just take of it what you want, like any kind of self-help book, where they're like, hey, in a self-help book, obviously you don't have to do 100% of what they tell you. But in the Bible, as far as I know, we're told 100%. I mean, we wouldn't even have the term gospel truth, would we?
No, always told 100% true. The infallible word of God. That there can't be anything wrong or false in that book.
Kurt, you're Ron and Fez.
Yeah, the reason I think that old Jesus never wrote about himself is he, taught humility. Why would he, write about himself if he's the son of a carpenter and all that?
Well, he was a teacher. He was a rabbi, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would think if it was important to him, and since he sort of knew the way this whole gimmick was going to go out, right? The future was no shocker to Jesus Christ. You would have thought if it was important, he should have got some of this down into an easy how-to type book. The only thing that I can come up with is it wasn't all that important to him. He really did not feel like he had to do it.
He seemed like a very in the now, in the moment guy. Where whatever was happening at that moment, that was the important thing to him.
What happened to the shy guy? I thought he wasn't. I thought he was shy.
Well,
He's shy to write.
Shy and humble as well.
I don't know if I agree with you there, Fezzy. The guy seemed like he was a student of the Old Testaments. He preached about the Old Testaments. I don't think that he was carefree the way that you're kind of setting it up, nor do I think he was too humble to put a book out. The only thing I can come up with is that he didn't think that it was important to leave a book of his writings behind. Here is Michelle, you're on Fez.
Yeah, hey, how you doing, guys?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention my husband works in the benefits department for the Discovery Channel, and they were all given this disaster procedure to follow because the Discovery Channel bulletin board and message boards were getting bomb threats and hate mail from all over the country when this documentary aired.
Rockumentary. So,
documentary.
So many of these lovers of the Prince of Peace had...
Exactly, my thoughts exactly. But I also wanted to add something else. You were saying earlier about why didn't Jesus write his stories, for instance. I was thinking, look at Plato and Socrates. There is no historical document of Socrates' existence other than what Plato wrote. So there are one of two theories in regards to that. The first is Socrates didn't exist and Plato made him up, so that Plato would never be executed for fomenting dissension. Or Socrates asked Plato to write it so that Socrates wouldn't get killed for fomenting dissension, which didn't quite work out.
So you're saying this was basically done. One is it's either the philosophy of the people who wrote it, not so much Jesus' philosophy.
Correct. I'm just saying that's one theory that's out there.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank God they did not blow up the Discovery Channel. Well, let me tell you something to the crazy Christians who were going to blow up the Discovery Channel. It wasn't all that compelling of a documentary for you to worry about this. I like the fact that now every time a documentary comes out, there's now a new documentary saying how the old documentary was shit. I think they started that with Michael Moore, where they whatever Michael Moore did, then they would do Michael Moore's an idiot 9/11. Bob, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, this is all, everybody's missing the point. This is all based on faith. That's the main word right there, faith. He wasn't there to write things down or people are supposed to believe. That's what it's all about. You understand what I'm saying?
But, Bob, if that were true, if you were just supposed to believe in your own heart is what you're saying, right? What you yourself feel.
Basically.
Then you would not need churches, and you would not need preachers, and you would not need to hear it over and over and over. You would have it in your heart.
Well, they're there to expand on it, to keep it going.
But they will tell you it is not enough to have it in your heart. You have to get in here and take care of these things. So nobody, what I'm trying to say, there's no organized religion that agrees with you as far as I know, Bob.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
All right. Take care.
Right.
And some of the things of, again, to me, it's a totally different thing to say, I have a belief because it gets me through the night, or it gets me to get on an airplane, or I'm able to go in and get the operation because I say a certain prayer, or I have a certain belief, or somebody say I lost my mom or my grandmother, so I need to hold on to this thing so that I can go on. I have zero problem with that. My bigger problem is where you feel the need to take these things that you feel and force everybody else into them. That's where I'm like, shut the fuck up, please. Do me a favor and shut up for 5 minutes.
That's why they can't have a documentary like this, because it shakes the stuff that they're selling to other people. They can't have Jesus not resurrected.
I disagree, because look at what they do with each other. All these different Christian religions have their own Christian religion. There's not one church. They already battle back and forth. Don't act like the Baptists don't think that the Catholics are crazy, and the Catholics don't think that the Episcopals are crazy, and they all wish they were Jewish. Let's fucking face the truth there. Everybody wishes they were Jewish when it comes to this. A friend of mine, you know him, Fez, Large Lou, he dove headfirst into the born-again thing. And he said he's born again, and the Jewish people automatically go to heaven because they're the chosen people. No matter what they do, no matter what sins they do, the Jews will go to heaven, this born-again friend. And I go, well, why don't you just, when you got born again, why didn't you get born again Jewish? That wasn't a smart move. That was the one there.
Watching that documentary last night, I know I don't want one of those bone box funerals where I get laid out, dried out for a year, then they dismantle me and put me in a tiny box.
Forget that. Look what happens when you're buried. Someone always digs you up and does whatever they want with you. No matter who you happen to be. Here's somebody they think could be Jesus Christ. They still dig him up, and him, Mary Magdalene, Joseph, anybody, and they're like, oh, and then we tried to skip his bones across the pond over there. They do not leave graves alone.
And then they put up low-housing apartment complexes on top of you.
I kind of like the apartment. The first one that they went in, I thought was pretty adorable. Dean, you're on Ron and Fez. Go ahead, Dean.
Ronnie.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, what's up? I agree with everything you're saying. I thought Koppel, as a moderator, was totally biased last night.
I thought that he was not strong.
I think the church got to him.
At no time did he put, to me, you would have showed a little balls, Ted, if you would have said to the religious people, so where's your proof? Where's your physical proof? At least these guys have something physical that you can pick up and say, Jesus, Mary, Joseph. Even if there's nothing else, at least they have something physical that you can get into there. Now, I have a tendency to agree with some of the things where I didn't necessarily think it was a good documentary. And how you get to your point, Fez, where you just take that leap, and that's definitely him. I can't understand that at all.
I didn't think the scientific experts or the religious experts on Koppel's show afterwards, I didn't think any of them had anything really compelling to say, no, you're wrong. I mean, they kept saying, they were throwing the odds and the stats back at the guy.
But see, here's my point. I don't think we're at the point where you're saying this is him or no, you're wrong. I think you would still have a hell of a lot of work to do. And I don't see what the hurry is. Since we've been sitting around here for 2,000 years, I don't see what the problem is of running every test that you have out there.
I hope they do keep testing on this thing.
I guarantee you they're going to forget all about it like they do everything else. First of all, it looked like he was buried in the end of a Steven Spielberg movie. It's like suddenly you go in and there's this vast warehouse of these relics, and I'm like, where's Harrison Ford right now?
Yeah, I had no idea they had so many of those bone boxes that they had dug up of people.
They're called coffins, Fez, and they do this all over the world. I mean, go around here. How many people lived in America, and how many cemeteries do you see?
Yeah,
They dig them up every time in the suburbs. They've dug them up tons of times. Colin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the point that why Jesus didn't write anything down. He's probably
because he's a carpenter, he's an unskilled worker and probably wasn't educated.
Again, he's the Son of God. He could walk on water. If he really wanted, if you think the man could walk on water, but he couldn't write something down, then you really don't think that he's the Son of God.
I'm going on History Channel here.
All right, talk to you later.
He had to be able to write some things down. I'm sure he's jotting down some measurements for a dining room table he was making or something.
Well, we know he could read.
Yeah, and I think he was self-taught, because he was like 12 years old when he was like preaching in the temple. So I think he was self-taught.
But 12 is not quite as young then as it is now. I mean, for Jesus alone, that was almost midlife. Here is Smokey, I guess. Smokey or Ron and Fez. Smokey.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you got for us?
Hey, it's actually Snarky, but hey, buddies. Listen, Ronnie, what you were saying earlier about Lutherans and their thoughts on Mary. Actually, that's one of the big differences between the Catholic Church and the Lutheran Church in the teachings of Martin Luther. We believe that Mary just happened to be a girl that found favor in God's eyes. If it wasn't Mary, it would have been Teresa or Roberta or somebody else.
You guys don't think there's such a big deal about Mary?
No.
We don't put Mary into the holy category. There is no other God but I, saith the Lord. And we do not worship Mary as the Catholics do. We also don't have all the saints that the Catholics do.
Fezzy?
Well, we have plenty of saints, because they say, I was always taught everybody's a saint. Ron's a saint, I'm a saint, we're all
that's
saints.
That's a difference, though. Do you have saints? Is there real saints in the Lutheran Church?
Yeah, because the churches are named at. We have St. Paul's, we have St. Matthew's, yeah, we have all the saints.
And they're the same St. Paul and St. Matthew?
Yes.
Fezzy, you're right, but we do not pray to the saints as we do to God. We do not go to a middleman to worship our Lord. We go straight to the factory warehouse in the Lutheran Church.
And we also don't think that it could have been any woman that found favor with God, because we were always taught that Mary was found without fault, that she was like the perfect woman.
She was the Immaculate Conception. She was born without sin.
Yeah,
No. We Lutherans do not believe she was born without sin. That's the big difference. We do not believe she was born without sin. Fezzy, what were you, Wisconsin Synod, Missouri Synod, or American Synod?
Missouri Synod.
See, I grew up in Missouri and then became Wisconsin, which, as you know, is very, very hardcore.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit in church with a cheese head on.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Ron, not even the Lutheran religion can get it right as to how they're going to worship God.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, my friend. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Matt, you're on Fez.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say I missed the Discovery Channel, but on the History Channel, they had the Dark Ages documentary talking about Christianity and how it adapted basically to the times to work with the kingdoms that were going on and the spread of Christianity against Muslim. And I think that was a better show of how Christianity has adapted over time.
Well, it is amazingly adapted. And people were acting like, well, Earl's like, like people are like, well, I talk directly to Jesus, and we don't go around. That is a fairly new thing in terms of worship in the last 2,000 years. That, during the Middle Ages, he was seen as a king and had to be treated as king. And the whole thing of God-fearing and averting your eyes was very much in those days. You did not have this thing that people hadn't have nowadays. Sometimes I think of Jesus as my buddy, just a good friend. That would be totally considered blasphemous years ago.
Yeah, he's also considered a co-pilot now.
And, we talked about that before, like the ability of the Christians to adapt and co-opt pagan holidays, where Christmas, of course, is a pagan holiday, not the day that Jesus was born. Easter's a pagan holiday, not the day Jesus was born. But like during the 60s, they would get, people would be like, they would be hanging around their long hairs. Let me tell you about another long hair. He had some wild ideas. His name was Jesus Christ. Well, now they're saying to the kids, you want to talk about extreme? I mean really extreme. You're going to need Jesus Christ in your life. Well, you've got this skateboarding Jesus thing that they're taking around the country. You would think that's wacky, but it is really great marketing.
Oh, sure, that Power Team USA. With the power of Jesus, you can break boards and bricks and chains. That's the best stuff.
And you'll see these guys, Jesus wants you to lose weight. Jesus wants you to make money. Whatever it takes, they'll just throw Jesus' name on there.
Yeah, the Jesus diet. I guess if you ate everything Jesus ate, you probably would lose weight. The guys seem to be very big into fish.
Fran, you're Ron and Fez.
Hey, hi, guys. I just want to correct something that one of your callers said a little while ago. She talked about the ascension of Mary, and that's completely incorrect. Mary did not ascend into heaven. Mary was assumed into heaven. We celebrate the Assumption of Mary in May. So there's a lot of misconceptions and mistakes being made out there, and I just think we need to keep things on the right track, and people need to use the right words and understand their meanings.
Even though the word was never used in English at the time. That you're saying already that we have a problem with the English language. Well, and when you turn around and seeing that Mary, what her name looked like on that thing, just the name Mary.
Oh, yeah.
It's less than even chicken scratch to us. I have no idea they could figure it out. And that, that they spoke Latin and Greek. You got to feel like, Fran, time after time there had to be problems transferring from one belief to the next, right?
Well, translating languages is a problem, but concepts should remain constant. And the concept of being assumed into heaven as opposed to ascending into heaven.
Tell me what it means to be assumed into heaven.
That whereas Jesus ascended with his own power because he was in fact divine, Mary was assumed, whereas God took her body and soul and brought her up into heaven, so she was assumed into heaven. We celebrate the Assumption. All
right, so your big problem is whether you say Jesus jumped into heaven and Mary had to be picked up, but they both physically went into heaven.
Exactly.
Okay.
but by different means, okay?
All right. Out of all the things that we've talked about today, I really don't see that as the stickler. How you got your physical body into heaven, to me, not the stickler, but thanks so much for calling, Fran. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I could do this talk forever. I know it drives people nuts, and I know I'll get wacky emails all the time about it, but I love to hear about people's religious beliefs.
Yeah, with that ascension thing, it doesn't matter whether you're getting pulled up under the armpits or not. It's still a nice trick to pull off.
Again, if it's somebody's belief, I don't want to mock it out. I know it's important to Fran, but to me, it didn't seem to be the big problem of assumption or ascension. Let's go to Steak Bomb, the man we call Radio Shark. How you doing, Shark?
All right. I would kind of hope that they didn't destroy the bones that were in those ossuaries. Of course, they probably didn't because they're so important. But if you did a DNA test on the bones of Joseph and Mary, and then it would match with Jesus, that would then complicate the Immaculate Conception, wouldn't it?
It definitely would. And that's one of the things that Ted Koppel came up with. Why didn't you attempt that? And if that did not match, if there was not a DNA match between Joseph and Mary, Jesus, then people would be into it in a big, big way.
But perhaps they already did do that, and they're just not letting it out yet, little by little. Because I remember 3 years ago when they said they found that ossuary of Jesus' brother that was also
James.
in the documentary.
And I don't remember growing up with all the brothers. I don't remember him coming from a large family. And I think Eastside Dave backed me up. In the Catholic Church, we hear, like, she's always a virgin.
You know what? I never heard the brothers thing, and I went to Lutheran school, so I never heard the brother and sister thing. And
Wisconsin or Missouri Lutheran?
Missouri Synod Lutheran.
I hate those.
So they could do DNA tests on them also, and if they matched Jesus, that means they all were related.
Right.
Right?
All right, thanks a lot, Shark.
Yeah.
You're oddly serious today. Kind of a little confusing for me.
It got to Stink Bomb. that documentary last night. But then when I read the Bible on my own, that's when I started seeing the verses about his brothers and sisters. And they named his brothers, they never named his sisters. And it always seemed like there was trouble going on. Like, Jesus, your brothers are outside. And he's like, no, I'm staying in here preaching. These people are my real brothers. So apparently, a lot of jealousy in that family.
Damon, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, who's the fact checkers for, like, John, Paul, and Mark? People today that get published, they get their facts checked for their book. So they got to tell them to take stuff out of their book because it's not true. There was nobody back then. These guys all wanted to get published. So, yeah, they're going to say the best things about this guy, and that's who gets published.
Thank you very much. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Johnny, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Big ass 144.
Hey, my friend.
All right, I just wanted to tell you, I happen to listen to Air America also, and they had a guy on, evangelical priest, who wrote a book about what the church could do if they actually spent only 20% of the money they actually bring in from all these rubes, given to 10% of their pay.
Right.
And they could do all the God's work. They could feed everybody on the planet. They could build colleges and give scholarships, and everybody could go to school, and they could build. They could put 500 million Bibles in all the world's different languages out there if they only spent 20% of the money they have coming in.
I don't know whether I believe in those figures, but
well, that's. I mean, according to the priest, that's what he said.
Yeah, I don't know where we're. What the figures are like on that, but I do know that the churches, they bring a lot of money in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, pastors at my parents' church, they end up getting a contract, and those are nice contracts that those guys are getting. Those are six-figure contracts for a pastor at a church.
Per year?
Yeah. And then there's all kinds of perks, like there's a housing allowance. They'll put up so much towards, getting him a house to live in with his family. All kinds of things. It's big business.
Is your church the guy making six figures, Earl?
No, we don't. I mean, what we have is like a faith offering. He doesn't make a salary. He just gives. He basically his salary, if you want to call it that, is from what people in church give him every week. They don't. I mean, he has outside interest where he draws his main salary, but he doesn't make any.
What are his outside interest?
Primarily real estate. I mean, that was his deal before he found his calling.
So he's also a real estate broker?
He deals in real estate, buys properties, and and one of the things he teaches.
So you don't know what he gets paid every month by your church?
No, not really. I mean, I think we get a financial. Every beginning of every year, we'll go over the financial records for the year, and we're like, hey, this is what you guys paid me this year. This is what we spent.
Well, try to figure out for me. I'm just curious.
Okay.
Now I know that the Catholic Church, you're supposed to be. You take a vow of poverty, but then. I agree with Fez that they get a place to live, and, they seem to be taken care of pretty well, as long as you got your own church.
I know the pastors in my church are taken care of very well. And I know they always put a thing in the worship folder on the back page every week, money that came into the church the previous week, and what it takes to run that church every week. And they never match up. They never take in enough money to meet the bills.
So where do you get the extra money from?
I have no idea where that comes. Because then there'll be another big fundraiser, a special fundraiser to get us out of debt, and that comes up 4 or 5 times a year.
Every quarter, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hello?
Yeah, what can we do for you, buddy?
Yeah, this is Chris in Jersey. I have a couple of questions. One is like, you mentioned about 30 minutes ago that you believe in the message, correct?
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like that message? Love thy neighbor, treat each other as you would like to treat ourselves. That's a very good message.
Okay. I told you I didn't watch the show yesterday, but if you believe in the message, why does everybody else go against what H.L. Hubbard wrote about Dianetics? That was a message. And why do a lot of people interpret him wrong for his message?
I'm confused. I'm confused about your point.
Well, the whole Scientology thing. A lot of people say that the Scientologist people, it's not true, not accurate, this, that. One person wrote about that message. Meanwhile, you had all these people write about one specific message from one particular person.
Well, I'm going to disagree with that because you do have the Scientology church believes in the methods of Scientology, and there is only one church. There's not 2 or 3 different sects that follow L. Ron Hubbard.
Okay.
And it is a very fast-growing religion. It's growing faster right now than Christianity is.
Oh, exactly.
Particularly with celebrities.
My other point was, did they say that Mary Magdalene's bones were with Jesus?
Yes.
Okay. My question is, this is for you, Ron and Fez.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are friends. Mary Magdalene was supposed to be like a friend, a follower, a believer, and stuff like that. Meanwhile, he wasn't buried with any of his other friends. He wasn't with Peter.
That was the point that they were making, that perhaps she was his wife and not his friend.
And then if he wasn't married, wouldn't that kind of throw off the Catholic, the Christianity?
Supposedly he was married. It just didn't show up in it. But again, would it throw it off from me if somebody was married? No. I mean, if I even found out definitively, and you're not going to. None of this stuff is going to happen on a definitive level. But it is always interesting to hear what people's beliefs are. And who is open to things and who is not open to hearing anything. You know, is that some people are just naturally pessimistic about anything that the church does. And Fez, at one time, you used to be optimistic, and now, for whatever reason, you're almost anti-church. And the same way that you went from real pro-Republican Party, you're in a time in your life that you can't see anything about them right now. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of even think that that's even a little out of balance. But, you know, such are the ways of the world. You're either in or you're out, I guess, with you.
Yeah, and right now I'm completely out of the church and the Republican Party, I guess.
What do you believe in now?
I believe in
Yoko Ono and you?
I believe in God, you know, but there's just a lot of things that, you know, I'm not matching up with the church.
I thought you went back to church for a while. That stopped?
Yeah, I haven't been back to church. I went for a few weeks. I went for about a month and then quit going again.
You know what got in the way of you and your churches? Those damn foot massages. Once the foot massages started off, you didn't have any time for church shit anymore.
So far, keeping my Lent. No Korean foot rubs.
It's not going to be a tough one to battle. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies? You know, I got to say, Radio Shark called in very lucid today and everything, but unfortunately I don't think his thing with the DNA on Joseph and Mary would work because you got DNA that old, it's mitochondrial, and you can only test for the mother, so it would actually, the religious side would get pretty psyched, I would think, because it would only show up with Mary's DNA.
Well, that is the only thing that they tested Jesus' DNA against Mary Magdalene to show that they did not share a mother.
Right, but if they could test Joseph, and Mary, not Mary Magdalene, I mean Virgin Mary, whatever, you would only get DNA going to Mary the mother.
But the beauty of this is only so far. You know what I mean? Like, maybe within the decades or 100 years from now, there'll be all kinds of stuff that you would be able to take this DNA, make an exact picture of what the person looked like, being able to, you know, come up with all different types of things. Hey, Bernie, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, the message I felt was the only one from Grandmaster Flash.
That's the message, Fez.
I guess it's as good as any message.
Better than most. Hall of Fame?
Yep, on Monday to get inducted. Next week from today.
Are you going?
I'm not planning on it right now.
What's the story in Van Halen? Are they going to play or not?
They have not confirmed nor denied Velvet Revolver is going to induct them, and Velvet Revolver is on standby unless the Van Halen bros don't show up, Velvet Revolver will play in their place.
I bet that's going to happen. I bet they are. I'll be shocked to see Eddie walk out there. Now, speaking of Velvet Revolver, they showed the Anna Nicole crazy funeral that she has going, and for some reason Slash was there. And the only two celebrities was Slash and the owner of Trim Spa. They showed up together. Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
I just want to congratulate Fez for finally coming out.
I said I was out of the GOP and out of the church right now.
Really? You're out of the church?
Well, I just don't go to church.
Do your parents know that you're out?
No, they don't know that I'm out.
Evil Homer, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I had to say, Ted Koppel's a real douche. He seemed like he was totally on the religious side last night, and it was unbelievable. And also, they couldn't test the DNA from Mary the Virgin and Jesus because they vacuumed out the other ossuaries.
Right. But still, there is whatever tends to be in there. You know, against
but they said they were vacuumed out. The Israeli people.
They want those bones to go somewhere. But then you're still going to have fragments and all that are very, very tiny.
No, that's what they were saying. They vacuumed out all the fragments.
I'm going to tell you right now.
There's some stains in there.
Yeah, you're going to...
yes, they said they could DNA them.
If you can't do it today, one day you will be able to pull that one off. I agree that Koppel, and I think he was a hired assassin by the Discovery Channel to go and show, hey, don't be mad at us. We're going to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to promote this thing, put these guys on, and then we're going to beat them up the second after it's over.
Here was something that Koppel kept doing all through that hour special last night, driving me nuts. He would say like something that he thought, and then would tag it with, but then I'm not nearly as wise in these areas as you experts. For some reason, he had to keep talking about how I don't have nearly the expertise. Not a professor am I. Just talking huge words but somehow taking himself down at the same time.
Eric, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the salary thing for Protestants, at least Baptists, which I know pretty well. The people like to keep their ministers hungry over there. They give them like in the 20s or 30s, unless you're talking mega churches, and then they get a lot more.
Church, Fez, your church isn't a mega church.
No.
And the guy makes $100,000 a year?
He's making six figures, yeah. Yep. And I would say probably maybe 250 to 300 people. Not a huge church.
The Baptist churches I grew up in, it was like trying to get blood from a turnip to get money out of these congregations.
So you're no matter who you are, you got to come up with about $3,000 a year in your church just to pay off the preacher before you even get into the church. Some little agita stuff for me, would you? Thank you.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Kevin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, I think that all organized religion in general is just like basically screwed up the whole belief of Jesus and what he taught.
Thanks, bro. Stoner line. Brad, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Just a update on Van Halen. They will not be performing at the Hall of Fame. However, they all are scheduled. They've all reserved tables. They're all going to be there. They're just not performing.
Wow. That's an embarrassment.
It's horrible.
Yeah, everybody performs.
Well, except for Sabbath last year. They didn't perform either.
So you want to be known as Sabbath?
What's that?
Was that last year, Sabbath went in, or 2 years ago?
Last year. Norton never lets me forget it. That's when he got his picture with the band.
Wow. That seems longer. It was scary. Some guy in a blue coat came up behind the Happy Typing Girl. I thought I was going to see a rape or something. It petrified me. Don't worry, everybody's okay. Here's Anton. Anton, you're on Fez.
Hey, this is Antoine in Dallas. I grew up in Christian schools all my life, and I kind of have some knowledge in this. The fact that a lot of people are disputing the fact that Jesus was married. Well, people called him rabbi in the Bible all the time, and in the Jewish faith, in order to be a rabbi, you have to be married. That's a big selling point in the Jewish religion is, family. So there is significant proof that, or not proof, but the odds are that Jesus was indeed married if all these people are calling him rabbi.
Yeah, how do you get into that, Fez?
Yeah.
I got to be married to be a rabbi.
I didn't know you had to be married. I knew a rabbi could get married. I didn't know you had to already be married to be a rabbi. And then again, also self-taught, so maybe he wasn't actually ordained by any particular temple.
Here's Barry on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, I heard on the radio this weekend that the release for Chinese Democracy has been delayed again. Does Dave have anything to say about that?
Dave will get his head shaved, I guess, March 6th. We're going to check in with Dave a little later on, too, see how everything went with his girlfriend. Why don't we take a break here? Ron and Fez Show.
It's the Ron and Fez Show on XM 202.
Ron and Fez Show. 866-10-Fez. You know, I'm trying to get something together here for Paulo. Right now, it's almost impossible to have a discussion with Paul about this movie premiere. But from what I understand, I don't even know if you know all this, Fez, because I think you're out sick, is Wiki offered to get involved now, have XM get involved, and we will do a very big world premiere for Paulo's movie. What exactly did he say to you, Earl? He would rent a theater?
Yeah, he's ready to rent a theater. He's ready to, really do it up. The Klieg lights, have the whole thing, like a red carpet, the whole deal, limos.
All right, here's the problem. And I love the idea of that. I think it's a fantastic idea. But I don't know what they shot this on, and I don't know whether you can show it on a big screen. So, it's not even so much as if the movie looks good or not, or, is like an entertaining film, but the people have to be able to sit there and understand that they're watching a movie. So I went and called Bruno Kirby, and, with him it takes 14 hours for him to get back to you. I don't know what he's doing so busy that he would not try to get this premiere over big. But he doesn't seem to be a technical guy. So nobody knows what to do right now.
I think Paulo shot a lot of this on his phone. So who knows what final product we're even going to get from Paulo at this point.
So should we pull out and not do this thing with them?
Man, I would love to do this premiere. I love the idea of the red carpet and everything and a Paulo movie. But there does have to be some sort of movie to go along with it.
The one person who doesn't seem to give a shit about quality is Paulo. So maybe we can try to get a hold of him today. Fez, here's another thing. Taz from the WWE has called and asked for you and me to give him a quote. Man, everybody's eating sushi right now. We got any sushi?
No, we're out of sushi, Ron.
I'm starving. Looks delicious. Anyway, Taz wants a blurb for the match against, I guess that Donald Trump is going to be fighting Vince McMahon?
What it is, it's hair versus hair, but Vince McMahon is going to have a wrestler represent him. Donald Trump's going to have a wrestler representing him. And whoever wrestler loses, either Vince McMahon or Donald Trump will get their head shaved at WrestleMania coming up April 1st.
Do you think if you just sit around and you have chopsticks in your mouth that it makes it look like you have really long buck teeth? So do you have something that we could give him, Fez?
I was thinking of something along this lines. I guess he's looking for like a prediction on the match or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Donald Trump's man wins with a new hold, the comb-over suplex. Something along those lines.
Yeah, we're going to need something better than that.
Oh.
Earl, you got one?
I was thinking, Trump's guy will win. No, he'll win by using the old stink face, the old, kiss my ass gimmick.
That's stupid.
Because, Vince is always into the big kiss my ass club.
Yeah, but, we got to give him something good. This is for the WWE website. And we need... Uh-oh. Well, have we even talked to him since the big match?
Not since the big-ass bash.
It's the Midnight Rally. Hey, Ryder.
Hey, Ronnie B. and hey, Feather W. Oh, it's good to be back here. What are we talking about now? Are we talking about the Midnight Rider? Yes, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Plymouth Sun, the champion of the people's hearts. And what we're talking about is the rider moving on.
What?
I know, Ronnie B. It's shocking, but the rider must ride on, Daddy, to greener pastures and to sweeter waters. Yes, Ronnie B., the rider was the victorious one at the big-ass bash. But some things are more important than victories, Daddy, and they're called dreams. The type of dreams squirrels have about acorns in autumn. The kind of dreams children have about getting that magic set for Christmas, Jack. And the same dreams a rainbow has of never fading away even when the precipitation is gone. And on Friday, last Friday at the big-ass bash, I saw one man stand up for his dreams like I've never seen, baby, not since I stood up to Harley race in 1978, and that man was Eastside Dave, and the beacon of his dreams was Ron Bennington. Well, let me tell you why. Because even an extra blind man could see that Ronnie B. and Eastside Dave need to be together. That's why they locked me in the back during the match. That's why Ronnie B. rooted so hard against the rider, like an Injun rooting against white man. Yes, Daddy, Ronnie B. and Eastside Dave like peanut butter and jelly, cardboard and crayons, assault and jail time. You can't have one without the other. One producer, one boss, one tag team of teams. I doubted Eastside Dave, but when I saw him take the leg drop, when I saw him exude the passion, I knew there is only one producer for the Ron and Fez show, and that be he. And so as hard as it is for this cowboy to hang up his spurs in order to keep Ronnie B. and Dave's dream alive, it's time for me to ride. Ride away from the Ron and Fez saloon with the producer glass nearly empty. There may be times when our paths cross again. Say if you guys should ever do a remote in the Valley of Cheyenne. But
I don't think that's going to happen.
That seems unlikely.
It really does.
So until
So
that,
you're leaving?
I am leaving.
Oh, I couldn't understand. It was a schmoz last Friday, and now today seems like a schmoz.
I have to say farewell, and you can see I'm broken up by it, but I have to say, because I can see the team gelling. Ronnie B., Eastside Davis producer, Fezzy Watley back and stronger than ever, and my sweet, sweet Sapphire looking so pretty. I must say, happy trails. That's right. That's right, everybody. It's official. The Midnight Rider says happy trails to you. But when you see a sunset, golden like a cracker, think of the rider.
Sure.
When you see a puppy playing with a baby kitten in his mouth, you think of the rider. And when you get a glimpse of a cloud hovering by itself like a moth with no flame, you think of the rider. On the trails of Kentucky, on the mountaintops of Albuquerque. I got one more silver dollar. Being producer here was so special, but it's time to move on. I'm just a rider, and so I say, I ain't gonna let him catch me, no. Ain't gonna let him catch me. Happy trails to you, Ron Fez.
There he goes.
Farewell!
Bye, Rider.
Farewell, baby!
Bye, Midnight Rider.
Farewell, Daddy!
Goodbye, Midnight Rider.
Farewell to you, Ronnie B. and Fezzy W.
Come back, Midnight Rider.
There he goes. There he goes, the Midnight Rider.
Oh, right enough. And the thing is, we never found out who was under that mask.
Yeah, it's Dave.
Oh.
Goodbye, Midnight Rider. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, there he goes. Goodbye, Midnight Rider.
Bye, everybody. Farewell.
Goodbye.
So long.
Bye, Midnight Rider.
So long.
We'll miss you.
Don't let him catch you now. Don't let him catch you, Midnight Rider.
I ain't gonna let him catch me, no.
There he goes.
I ain't gonna.
I was fond of him.
He's back off on the trail. That's those desperado types.
Kind of anticlimactic. Goodbye, Midnight Rider.
Goodbye. Goodbye. All right.
See you now.
I think they get the point now.
Goodbye.
All right, farewell.
Bye, Midnight Rider.
Farewell.
See you soon.
I'm gonna miss you, Daddy.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you too.
Okay, bye, baby.
There goes the Midnight Rider. Goodbye.
Okay, yeah, bye now.
Still hasn't quite gotten out of sight.
Okay, bye.
Adios, amigo.
All right.
What's that mean?
Goodbye, friend.
All right, hold on. We got Paulo back. Hey, Paul.
Hey, boss.
Listen, I don't know whether you know. I called your producer today.
Oh, yeah, okay.
XM really wants to do a big premiere for you.
Okay.
We want the lights. We want the red carpet. And Earl wants to get us the director's studio right on 57th Street. That's the place Scorsese uses. Robert Altman's last appearance was there. Very famous place.
Okay.
We don't know if technically you guys are able to do it. I don't know whether... Is this thing of yours going to be able to get up on a big screen?
Well, that was actually one of the things I wanted to discuss with some of the theaters and find out exactly what they need.
They need a film.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, here's the main issue.
Right.
That I'm going to complete the film, but I cannot guarantee I will be alive for the premiere. I'm going to make sure the film is ready. I'm going to handle it.
Why are you going to die?
I'm at the very, very, very end of my rope. As you can, everybody knows. Everybody knows, how difficult the situation with Gail has been over the years. And
look, you've got a lovely wife. You've got a fantastic lover. Everything is going your way.
I know, but you see, because I confronted my demons or whatever you want to call it over the years, it created enormous amounts of problems.
Like what?
The problem, I'm talking about financial.
Well, this is your way out. If this movie becomes a hit.
Couldn't get through a conversation without her being able to come into the
financial problem.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm trying to finish the movie, Gail, and you know we have financial problems.
Yes. Why are you always yapping at them like a scorned dog? They don't want to hear the same shit from you every day.
Okay. Can you let me finish the conversation?
Why? Is she not on there, fuck cock, too?
Okay. So that's my main issue. I'm just trying to get things...
I've been waiting all day. You go ahead. You fuck whatever you want. I'll leave it for today.
And she also had a car accident the other day, and the car that she's going to be driving in is not going to work that well since it, I don't know what. There's some kind of a thing with black fluids that is not connected to the car anymore, so I don't know how that's...
So get your thing started. Let's tell everybody what's good.
But I'm going to deliver the film within the next few weeks.
What's within the next few weeks?
And then I'll be good.
You'll be good with what?
Okay, sir. Hello?
You'll be good with what?
I'm worried about you, Paul.
I'm worried about me, too.
You'll be good with what, Paul, in 2 weeks?
I'm trying to finish the film, remember, Gail?
Yeah, and then you'll be done with me, right?
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You know how desperate our situation is.
Yeah, well, you could start taking care of it and stop making stupid phone calls to these people.
I'm not trying to...
Listen, I'm just trying to get what has to be done. And you're on some kind of gay... drug induced.
Okay, can I finish the conversation?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's going to be good.
Just give me 3 minutes. Just give me 3 minutes. Okay. Here's my thing. I'm trying to figure out, and obviously I can't have a private conversation because I can call you sometimes. But the main thing is that I have to coordinate and decide everything in my life. You accumulate things your whole life, and then when you die, it all goes in the garbage anyhow. So that's kind of what I'm doing now, is going through all my huge amount of possessions and deciding, why did I get all this stuff? That's kind of where I'm at. But I'm going to finish the film.
All right, but Paul, doesn't it seem like this will be great for panel? Once the movie's out there and it's a hit at Sundance, you'll be one of those guys like, I was at death's door before this film, and now I'm a big star.
Yeah, there's no question that there's a lot of drama, but it's better to watch drama when it's on the screen than to live through it.
And Gail doesn't sound that good anymore. It doesn't seem like... Remember she used to like Ron and Fez there for a while? Now she's back to calling us stupid and gay.
I know, now she's back to Oscar the Grouch sitting in her garbage can.
She's listening at the door, so it's not like I'm...
No, it's drama. You can call him back later.
As usual...
Why is he sticking up for you? Why is he sticking up for you?
All I'm saying, Gail, is that they called me. It wasn't the best circumstance for them to call me today, but I'm here.
You are doing what you can to screw me over, aren't you?
No, Gail, you're the one who took all the money.
Yes, because you were overdrawing $7,000 here, $3,000 there.
So I'm going to deliver the film in the next few weeks and have it complete. Then it'll be up to Bruno Kirby what happens after that.
Well, is it going to be on film?
Well, that's a financial issue. Gail, you monopolize every conversation, okay?
Because it's always about me.
No, it's not about you. Could you give me a few minutes of privacy?
Yeah, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will.
Bye, Gailo.
Bye. We'll miss you.
Don't have my trust anymore.
So, in any case, that'll be a financial issue, which clearly I'm not in control of anymore.
Will Gail be there at the Q&A?
As I said, it all depends on whether things turn my way in enough time for me to pull it together, or whether this goes into other people's hands and I will then become just a footnote.
So you really feel like you could end up losing this film?
No, I'm not losing the film. Just not being around for it anymore. I feel very much at the end of my rope.
You sound suicidal, Paul.
I'm not suicidal. Just so you know, I'm not suicidal.
You're making me a little concerned. Now, where's your lovely girlfriend?
I mean, we've always done this on the lowest budget possible, and I can't discuss that right now. We've always done this on the lowest budget possible, so it was never a big issue about money. I mean, that's really not what the money issues were always from way before, okay?
Right.
And now they're just coming.
Paul,
they're coming to head right now.
Why don't you just say one nice thing about Melly so that Gail hears you and gets mad?
Because I can't do that.
Years ago.
Yeah, okay, Gail.
Just to say that Melly was sent to you from heaven.
I cannot bring that up right now.
Just say it.
I can't bring that up right now. Yeah, see, we were trying to resolve some issues
here. Yes, we were, until this goddamn phone call.
You don't understand. You were already flying out of control today.
Get off the phone, Paul.
In any case,
I'm a nervous wreck because I have to take money to the bank to save your ass at Melanie. And you want me not to be nervous?
The main issue is that the easy part is the editing of the film, which I'll try and get done in the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy part. Oh, now she's biting my hand. Okay.
Give me the phone.
No, you cannot have the phone. You cannot have the phone.
Why?
Because
why are you afraid of what they'll say to me?
You want me to give her the phone.
That'll only be a minute or two.
You do?
Sure.
All right, then I'm not going to be talking to you again today.
All right. Okay, Paul.
Bye.
Hello?
Yeah, how are you, Gail?
What's all this and all of a sudden we've forgotten about what he's doing and you're all chum with him again?
I don't know. I really don't know how Fez got into that.
Me?
That's more of a Fez thing than a Ron thing.
So you're still against me?
Fez is against you. I'm for you.
I just want Paul to realize his dream and finally get this movie done.
And I'm on your side.
So do I. I'm not preventing him from getting this movie done. He went with his fucking prostitute to New York for a whole fucking week, and don't tell me that was all spent doing the movie.
Yeah, that had me upset, too. I agree with you on that, Gail.
I'm sure some business got done.
None. Sometimes I think you should kill Fez.
Look,
no,
you
let's
guys.
Not, Gailo.
Let's not do anything to harm him or me. But when I hear him talking on the phone and running me down like that, and you agreeing with him, it breaks my heart.
I agree with you. I'm on your side. Okay, all we were trying to do is find out when he's going to deliver the movie. So we'll talk to you later, okay, Gail?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye. Stay cool. Stay cool forever.
All right, I don't want to sit by her at the premiere.
You're going to.
I have the feeling she's going to be chatting, if not screaming, all throughout the entire movie.
Maybe what you want to try to do, Earl, is to put Wiki in touch with Bruno Kirby. I don't think that this thing is a film. I don't know what we're going to be able to show it on, but I can't imagine renting a big theater.
Yeah, and especially a nice, really classy place like the DGA.
Well, I just don't think that you're going to be able to get the picture technically big enough.
Yeah,
I don't know about the sound. And I don't want him to spend, $10,000 on a big theater and a whole big night and the big lights and everything and then have it all suck ass and have people yell, "We can't see."
Paul Lowe's thing throughout this whole ordeal has been, I want to make this movie, I want to make a film. And it seems like the actual physical film part of it is the one thing that's escaped him throughout the entire process.
Well, I mean, he shot it on video. We all knew that he was doing that.
Right.
But I thought there was going to be some transfer to film that hasn't seemed to happen. But we knew he was shooting it on video. We saw what the fucking camera looked like.
And he doesn't seem to have any clue about how to do that.
No.
Where he's just lost at this point.
Well, and that's why we need to talk with Bruno. And Bruno isn't a technical guy either. He was trying to tell me, we shot some new scenes and they look great. We got hot chicks in this. But, he was all very excited about, where they were going with the film part of it. But, technically, if we're going to do this big premiere, and I'm a little worried about Gail right now. She seems upset with Fez. To me, that's the fucking movie you needed to see. You just put some raw meat on a stick, get Gail fired up, and then roll camera. And that would have been a scary fucking film.
They had her all during filming. She was wearing her Bloomingdale's gown, running around nuts.
Remember, she was spending big money here then.
Yeah, she was just running up a tab.
I give him credit, though. He's back there every day trying to figure out what to do. I don't know why he does it. I'd be heading west like the writer. I really would. Give me the Galo song. We haven't played that in a while.
A lot of people who listen to this, please don't take drugs.
She's not happy, and she's not normal anymore. She's so lonely. She's got no one left to lose. She wants to die before Christmas.
You hope to die before Christmas?
I hope so.
She's afraid.
I'm afraid that if I die before he will, and I think what's going to happen is he won't care at all.
He won't care at all that you're gone.
I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
She's probably going to commit suicide.
If you die first, I probably will commit suicide.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't kill yourself. Kill someone else. Gail. You're gonna have to kill Paul. You'll have to do it while he's sleeping. Bang, bang, shoot him in the head while he's laying in bed. You can blame the medicine.
The biggest problem is that she doesn't understand exactly how mentally ill she is.
I am not that mentally ill. I have a bipolar disorder.
That's nothing.
It's not.
It's a bipolar on top of a schizophrenia.
No, I'm not schizophrenic, Paul. I'm dual. You've heard of what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's it. The doctor.
Dual personality.
Yeah, you don't.
Taking
I'm not psychotic, Paul.
There you are. Today she sounded more like the old Gail, where she hated us and she hated Paul. Hey, we'll try to talk a little later on in the show. We didn't even really talk about this much, but we'll have to say welcome back to Eastside Dave. I guess you got what you wanted after all, Fez. Eastside Dave back.
And the Midnight Rider has ridden off.
No, you know what? That's right. I was on Eastside Dave's side. You were on the Rider's side.
I was cheering for the Rider. I lost my
Earl,
Rider.
When I throw that thing out there, I need you to jump in and... so we just don't always follow whatever crazy thing I have. Jump in and fix it for me, all right?
All right.
Stand up to Ronnie B. That's what I'm looking for Earl Douglas to do now. Hey, Franklin's got an idea for us. Franklin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I'm a filmmaker, and I've been listening to Paulo's problem, and I can help you guys transfer his movie if I have a little bit more information.
Like, what do you need to know?
Well, he's shooting on mini DV, I would assume, right? Like a home video camera?
All I know is he's shooting on dog shit.
Well, you know, we've been premiering our video-based movies in theaters for a while, so I can really probably help him transfer.
I'm going to take your number, okay? Franklin off the
All
air.
right, no problem.
All right, talk to Franklin. Say nice stuff to him. Bring up Franklin to Jai, and let him know one time I worked at the Franklin Mint, so that I can fucking meet him halfway if need be. I have no idea what Paulo shot this on, nor does anybody else. Nobody knows what he's up to. Now, I brought up dog shit. There was a Sarah Silverman the other night where she sang a song that, believe it or not, it fucking really turned my head. She sang the song, Whatever Happened to the White Dog Poop of the 70s. And I forgot all about this. When I was a kid, you would see white dog shit that you don't seem to see anymore. Earl, did you have that in your neighborhood? Was there white dog poop?
I really don't remember seeing white crap. No.
Fez, where are you on the white poop?
Always saw white poop.
Yeah.
Constantly. You saw it just about every day.
So what happened to it? Was it just a late 70s thing? Did it go away? If anyone knows about this, 866-RON-0-FEZ. And that's why I say this Sarah Silverman. Not only will she make you laugh, she'll make you think a little, too. Make you think, whatever happened to the white dog poop?
It was almost like mummified dog poop.
Yeah, like it came out old.
Yeah, like it was white, it was dried, usually on the sidewalk, I think.
Now, did they, it could be in a yard, did they have the dogs take some kind of, was it shots the dogs were getting back then, or were they taking some kind of vitamin?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's, dogs' diets have changed. Maybe dog foods have changed so that they're just not producing white dog poop anymore.
All right, some people, the phones just blew up on this, so we'll give them a chance to work this out. But I was sitting there. Now, have you watched her show yet?
I have not seen the Sarah Silverman show.
Here's T-Bone. T-Bone, you're on Ron and Fez.
What's going on, guys? Sorry
Hey,
about it at work, but I had to chime in. I was just having this discussion a couple weeks ago with someone, and apparently in the late 70s, early 80s, the majority of dog food had unusually high fiber content that after the dog shit and it sat a while, it turned white. I don't know if that's true or not, but the guy was a vet, so I tend to believe him.
All right, so you're saying now that was a problem in the fiber?
I don't know.
Well, I'll have to go in and check. Here's Mark. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. Yeah, if you remember, they didn't start finding people for not picking up their poop until almost recently. So the shit used to stay around, dry out, and turn white.
Well, I think it was about late 80s, early 90s. Earl, do you got an idea, like in New York City, where you had to start doing the pooper scooper?
I always remembered it like when Koch was in office, so it had to be like maybe like late 80s, like 86, 87, right before he left office.
Okay. Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, how you doing, Ron? What's going on, fellas?
Yeah.
Listen, I got this freaking neighbor of mine. Her dog, she has a German Shepherd, and it's constantly shit in their backyard, and I see it. And I live in Florida as well, and it's basically the fiber, and when it sits there in the grass for a while, the sun burns it, and it turns it white.
So you're saying it just means that it's sitting there for a while?
Yeah, that's basically it, because I know my neighbors, their dog shits everywhere, and I look at it, it just sits there and turns white.
Some of those people are A-okay with their dog shitting wherever they want to shit. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, vet told me about 10 years ago, it's when a dog eats its owner or another dog's shit, that does something in its diet so that when the dog itself shits and it stays out in the sun, it'll turn white.
So it's recycled shit, basically.
Right. So the dogs that are getting like a well-balanced diet or on a leash to where, the owner's not going to let them eat somebody else's shit, it tends not to happen.
When people say they love dogs, I go, well, then you love a shit eater. Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hello, fellas.
Yeah.
That's petrified shit.
I'm scared just hearing about it. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. We're talking about this Sarah Silverman song I heard the other night. What happened to the white dog poop of the 70s? And Fez, it hit me like a shot going, that's right. I remember being a kid seeing white dog poop.
It was basically like the dog would eat marshmallows and they would come out all stuck together. That's what it looked like.
Tom, you're on Fez.
Hey, guys. I got two dogs that eat two different dog foods, and I left dog shit out on the backyard. And after 6 months, I looked at it. The one poop stayed white. The other one stayed regular. Can't explain it.
One of your dogs is going to die. The other one's going to live.
All right, buddy.
Peace. Billy, you're on Fez.
Yo, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
What's going on? I miss Soundboard Fez. My next door neighbor, when I was a kid, the dog shits always used to be white. We used to tease the girl about it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what it was. We used to tease her like it was a ghost dog.
You had every reason.
Right.
You had every right to. All right,
right?
Yeah. There was a lot of more white dog poop back then. All right, let me ask you this, Fez. You're walking down the street, barefooted.
Right.
You step in shit.
Yeah.
Squirts right through you.
Yeah.
Right through your toes. Would you rather that was dog shit or human shit?
I think I'd rather it be dog shit.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Earl, what about you?
I'd rather go with a dog.
All of us, and we never do this, we all agree that as weird as it is, it's more disgusting to step in human shit than any other kind of shit. You'd rather step in elephant shit, mule shit, cat shit, wouldn't matter as long as it's not people shit. Like, if you stepped in dog shit, you'd be like, oh, I'm wiping my foot off on the thing. But if you stepped in human shit, you're getting rid of your shoes, you're going to have to take a Silkwood shower.
I might want to go to the hospital to get checked to see, that I didn't have a cut in my foot or something that the human shit got into. Oh, man, that would be the most disgusting thing ever, stepping in human shit.
Why is that? Why, out of all the species on the planet, do we think that we're the most disgusting? And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Chris, you're on Fez.
Hey, there's two things. The one about the white dog shit as a kid was great because you could pick it up and throw it at people and it would explode on them because it was hard on the outside.
Powdery, yeah, be a powdery explosion.
Also, I don't think that you're seeing as much white dog shit as you were when you were a kid because you're not outside playing as much. So it's probably still there, you just don't see it.
Yeah, but you know what? Check with your kids. I bet they're not seeing the amount of white dog shit that we had when we were younger. And I'm sure Blowhard's crying right now, missing that white dog poop. Here's Jimmy. Jimmy, you're on Fez.
Yeah, I have a thing about seeing an owner holding the dog by the leash while it's shitting, and the owner just kind of like gazing off and trying to ignore it, but your dog is shitting and you're holding it by the leash.
I see it every day. I see it every single day in the city because it's a pretty decent fine if you don't clean that shit up. So they all have to sit there and wait for the dog, wait for him to do the right thing. How much is the fine? Do you know, Earl? It's a few $100, right?
I think it's like $200.
Yeah. To me, it's worth it. It's $200 to not pick up shit. I pay it every single day. Joe, you're on Fez. Go ahead. Well, let me try again. Joe, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, my best favorite memory of being a kid mowing the backyard was running over dried dog shit. It exploded. It was like a fucking smoke ball. 4th of July. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I do remember that, too, that you'd be out mowing the lawn, and when you hit the dried shit, it would all go shooting off at the same time.
The worst part was with the lawnmower hitting the wet stuff.
Jeff, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment on why the dog shit turns white. And when I give my dog a lot of meat, within 24 hours it goes from a normal dog shit texture to just a chalky white dog shit new formation.
All right, so you think it's meat?
Definitely. It's got something to do with the dehydration. When you eat a lot of steak, you get real thirsty. It's the same thing for dogs as well.
So it's the exact opposite of fiber that we heard earlier.
Possibly, yes, exactly right. But that's been my experience, and I'd also like to say that my wife's a fucking bitch. Thank you.
Yeah, I knew that, too. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. I will tell you this, it distresses me when we think we have the answer to something, and then you find out we do not. This started today with the Jesus tomb. We thought we found Jesus. Now people are telling us no. We thought we know why some dogs poop white. Now other people are telling us no. It's very, very difficult to do this show. Ryan, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
None of your business, Ryan.
It's right now. She's just white. I had a friend of mine I dated. Her mother was a dog breeder, and she told them, hey, they need to eat raw food, not cooked food, and because it'll make them choke. And ever since then, she's been shitting white, and the skills don't get to it. It doesn't smell. And they let her on and make figurines with it. Put it in my house.
All right, so you're saying it's a good thing when they shit white.
Well, what happens is, best way I understand it is that dogs in the wild usually don't eat wheat, and vegetables and crap like that. They're rather killing other things like a squirrel and eating it raw, so their body knows how to process it all correctly. The reason why it's so smelly is because of all the grains in there. Their body can't process that stuff.
There are a lot of grains and wheat and stuff like that in dog food, and you're like, why is that?
I would imagine just a filler, so that or else dog food would be so expensive.
Well, everybody likes to buy that stuff, especially expensive stuff with vegetables. Like it's a five-star dinner entree. Like going to a restaurant. Dogs don't eat that shit.
But I guess they have to eat vegetables if they're not eating actual meat anymore, right? Because you used to get those same things through the raw animals that they would be eating, right? If you ate a plant eater, right? You're getting the same minerals that the plant eater got from eating plants.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
So if you're not doing that anymore, I guess there's got to be some vegetables in there for you.
Yeah, you got to have some nutrients. My dad went through this phase where he was making his own dog food for the dogs with a lot of rice and lamb and stuff. I wish I had paid attention to how they shit afterwards.
Hey, it's Blowhard.
Hey, you're talking about my favorite subject.
Dog poop?
This is just shit. It's amazing how I forgot about the white shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing how...
I did too. I sat there the other night. I watched Sarah Silverman. She started to sing this song. I'm like, holy fuck. I remember this. She took me back to childhood memories with one wacky song.
Because we played in the street, and there was no law back then. This is before the Pooper Scooper law, and you would have it between parked cars. Usually people would be sneaky and would be playing stickball, would be playing any type of ball, and you'd end up falling in it, putting some retarded kid in it. You'd be doing something with it. We played with it. We blew it up on the 4th of July. I remember also, light-colored, just not even just white, but, almost grayish, and also a beige, almost like a Carvel consistency.
Sometimes you'd see, a little green stripe through it or something. A little green tint to it.
Yeah, you guys stared at it a lot more than me.
And it wasn't old. I mean, this was fresh, hot, steaming shit. And it was, and usually the bigger dogs, I noticed. It was always a big dog, like somebody had a Great Dane or a Collie or something.
Blowhard, we brought this up. If you stepped in shit, would you rather it was dog shit, horse shit, or human shit? What would be the
horse shit? Horse shit. No doubt about it. Horse shit would be the one I'd choose.
And what would be your least that you would ever step in?
Well, human, because the human thing conjures up an image of some HIV, homeless, crackhead, with some type of...
So we really think that humans are more disgusting and despicable than animals.
But there's nothing nastier than cat shit.
I mean, don't act like you wouldn't like you would even be comfortable stepping in a beautiful woman's shit. I don't care if it's Farrah Fawcett shitting all over the floor. You don't want to go sliding through it. No, I know I'm not speaking for you, Jimmy. I'm saying most people.
I've stepped in all types. I mean, I'm always stepping into some... I slipped recently, as a matter of fact. I was carrying groceries past a parked car, like a hydrant, and it was a big wad of dog shit. I slipped. I got some on me. It's just part of life. It's part of nature. And when you're hanging out, when you're drinking back in the old days, when I used to really tie them on, and, you wake up and shit. That's just a fact of life.
You mean you shit yourself?
About it strange... Excuse me?
You shit yourself?
Close to it. One time I got locked out of my apartment. I was too drunk to put the key in, and I ended up just taking a dump in the hallway, and the landlord thought it was a big dog, and we mean a big dog.
I know that thing would have to be the size of a thing of Play-Doh or something.
I was so proud of it because it was just structured. It was a masterpiece. But the truth is, cat shit is one of the worst shits. Human shit, like I said, it depends on the source. If it's in the street and you're like, God, who took a shit here? That could be some disgusting human with some horrible.
But you would have no problem walking through a supermodel shit.
Through a
supermodel shit.
You know, I'm not a scat guy. I'm not really obsessed. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, you know, if I had to pick of the whole list, maybe supermodel would be the first one I would want to step in. But you know, it's just like I'm
not crazy, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'd rather step in dog shit or horse shit.
Some people, the supermodel angle sounds kind of hot. It sounds pretty.
Doesn't work for me. Like
doesn't
this.
Work for me either. But
would you step in Ann Coulter's shit, Blowhard, the woman that you love?
You know what to do with Ann Coulter? I would pick it up with my bare hand and I would just smack her in the face with it. How's that?
I thought you liked her.
No, I don't like Ann Coulter. I think she's an idiot. I'm not a big fan of her at all.
All right,
I'm not a fan of Ann Coulter.
Hey, did you ever give that CD to the John Minnelli, Earl?
Yes, I did.
Fez, have you talked to him about it?
I have not talked to John Minnelli about
When are we getting Fez back? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow, Fez is going to check on it, Blowhard.
Well, thanks, Fez. I'm glad Fez is back healthy because I was worried about the guy. You know, when you get that under a diabetic condition, you're at higher risk to get pneumonia. And, you know, I'm just so happy to hear him back in his old...
And I see you going off the diabetes thing. You don't even pay attention to it anymore. You ever check your blood sugar?
Yeah, I checked it 2 days ago.
What'd you come up with?
I was higher than I should be. I was about 10 points higher than I should be.
Okay.
Because we don't want you going blind. We don't want to have any amputations. Because we love.
I wouldn't mind if he lost his big toes. Because then he can start wearing more attractive shoes.
Well, these are just so big.
All right, Blowhard. Talk to you later,
guys,
buddy.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
All right, peace. Are we going to get bored gossip today?
Yes, we are.
All right, good. Because I need this. All right, now, along the same lines. This came up to me. I'm watching a Bill Maher program the other night. I'm not going to lie to you, Fezzy. Since you made me sick, I stayed in a little more than I liked to over the weekend. And you just didn't make me sick. You made everyone sick that you came in contact with. You're typhoid fairy. So, I'm watching the other day, and he brings up, how come Chinese restaurants, never have breakfast? I'm like, yeah, that is true. Then I got to thinking this. No ethnic restaurants ever have breakfast. You never see a Mexican place open for breakfast. You never see Italian open for breakfast. You never see Polish or German restaurants open for breakfast. Yeah, a deli, sure, Jewish deli. But I'm talking about when you talk about I'm going out for an ethnic dinner, none of those places ever open in the morning for breakfast.
I wonder if breakfast just isn't as important a meal to those different cultures.
It's the most important meal of the day, my friend. But do they have cereal? Do they have pancakes? Name me a breakfast food other than American.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Come on in here. Bronx Johnny is going to give us the side of Ecuador. Bronx Johnny, I need you, buddy. I need somebody to stick up for the rest of the world that isn't American.
Dominicans have this thing made out of plantains. They're called mofongo.
And that's what you have in the morning?
Yeah, you have that usually with a side of salami and some eggs, scrambled eggs. That's usually more of a breakfast thing.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not for the constant fried bananas that they're into down in the Dominican. Yeah. Some of it I like.
No, it's not fried. It's mashed up style. It's like I would guess mashed potato kind of style.
Yeah, but it's a banana really, right?
Yeah.
It's a mashed banana. That's baby food. That's something an infant would eat here. What do the Ecuadorians eat for breakfast?
We have something also with like the plantain as well. It's called we call it a tortilla too, but it's just with cheese in the middle of the plantain.
Now, again, I'm going to give this to Bill Maher. What does a Chinese person normally eat for breakfast?
I don't know. I would think just more rice for breakfast.
Why would they eat more rice?
It's a grain.
Maybe cherry.
I understand they eat rice, but why is that the only thing that... I mean, you don't have rice for breakfast, right?
No.
Why would they?
Cherries or tangerines. I seen they have like the little walnut.
All right, so you think they get up and have a nice little fruit lunch?
Yeah.
They start off with a small lunch, just a little piece of fruit. Earl, what do you think?
Like with ethnicities, like with black people, we fry everything. So there's no we fry eggs, we fry apples. That's a big Southern thing. Everything is fried. But
I'm going to throw black people in with the American cuisine. Because we're not talking about Africans don't sit and fry everything. You're getting that from America, not from your native African. That's not ethnic in the way that you're talking about it. You eat the same foods that a redneck eats down south. Yeah, but you're not getting that from Africa. You'd be better off with Haitian food. Is probably closer to the African recipes than what you're talking about.
Haitians also have something like what we have for applesauce. They do something with like a plum kind of fruit.
Yeah.
And like a dried jerky kind of meat for breakfast.
Jeez.
Yeah, they don't.
How do you know
taste
so
good.
much about Haitians?
I run with them in Queens a little bit.
I saw you come in with your two bros the other day, and you guys rolled right out.
Yeah.
The two yuppie-fied?
Yeah, that boy, the people were cool, just that's not really our kind of scene. And
But it got real drunk and crazy after you left. I wish you would have stayed a little while. But I saw you and your black friends, you look petrified.
Yeah.
Because it looked like a Miller commercial. I don't know what happened to Bar 9, but it got so yuppie-fied in the last couple of years. I couldn't believe it. I felt like it was in fucking Chicago.
I don't know what's going on with Bar 9 at that point. It's, I think it's the lack of live music.
Jake, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies, love the show.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm living here in San Antonio, and there's Mexican restaurants all over the place that serve breakfast, and that's why everyone's so fat around here.
Why? What do they have for breakfast? What do the Mexicans eat?
You got like huevos rancheros, which is scrambled eggs are over easy with like a salsa on top with usually beans and like potatoes are served with it. And then you got all kinds of breakfast tacos, bean and cheese, bacon and egg, potato and egg. You name it, they got it. And like I said, it's all loaded with grease.
But, you know, those breakfast tacos, I bet they're closer to being American than they are anything else. You know, I don't really think that the Mexican kids sit around and go, hey, we could put scrambled eggs, cheese, and bacon into a taco. I got a feeling that that's our gimmick. Jordan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you guys that in Japan they eat rice for breakfast. They eat miso soup. They eat fish.
Soup for breakfast, I could never. I don't really fucking understand it. Who wants to get up in the morning and have a bowl of soup?
See, they're basically just eating what they have 3 times a day. I don't think there's any sort of difference to the menu.
But, you know, like here, like we have potatoes every meal. But a hash brown is way different than mashed potatoes.
Right.
And yet, technically, you're having potatoes.
Yeah, but I don't think the Japanese are changing it up any. I think it's whatever was left over from dinner is probably breakfast.
Scott, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Whoops, let me try again. Hey, Scott, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I was in the Navy for 8 years, and I spent a lot of time out in, like, the Philippines and China and Hong Kong and stuff like that. They eat nothing but rice 24/7, man.
All right, so you're going to go on with Fez's. It's a constant rice.
Yeah, they'll have fried rice. They'll put a couple fried eggs on top of it. Usually it's like a vegetable fried rice or something. Usually doesn't have meat in it.
All right, it's kind of interesting, though, that they always want to go back for eggs. Eggs are the breakfast meal.
Absolutely, 24/7.
All right, that doesn't make sense to say 24/7 if they don't fucking have that. Forget it. Hey, it's our friend Bobo. Hey, Bobo.
Hiya, buddies. I can't remember the name of it, but the traditional Chinese breakfast on mainland China it's like scrambled eggs with diced tomato and rice. And they treat it so reverently. I mean, here it's like, you know, scrambled eggs.
Right.
But to them, it's like almost exotic because it's a combination that they don't have, you know, for any other meal.
All right, so they do make a big deal out of it, and it's like a scrambled egg deal. That's all.
Yeah, it's like incredibly simple, just eggs, tomato, and rice.
All right, thank you, Bobo.
Okay, love you.
Bye. Rick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys, how's it going? Hey, listen, I'm Cuban, and I can't speak for the rest of the Latin community, even though I did grow up with them, but we drink coffee for breakfast with a little toast and maybe some ham.
All right, a lot of people will just have some toast in the morning. Or the New Jersey hard roll. A hard roll with butter in New Jersey. Who knows why anybody does this?
That seems as common as the eggs for breakfast. Just maybe a piece of bread, a hunk of bread or something.
Jeremy, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys, how about Swedish pancakes?
What exactly is that?
You know, I know Swedish restaurants are on there?
No.
Oh, it's the best. They're like thinner pancakes than normal. I don't know. They ain't much different.
You paint a hell of a picture. You really do, my friend. Phil, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, boys, love the show.
Yeah.
Got a Japanese restaurant here in West Virginia. They serve for breakfast rice with cubed ham, scrambled eggs, and they cover it in maple syrup. It's fucking awful.
It doesn't sound good. The maple syrup is just, you're panicking. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, what about the famous Belgian waffle?
Yeah, do they really come from Belgium?
Yeah, sure they do.
I would think that's an American thing.
And the Germans have blintzes, which are little thin pancakes filled with cheese and strawberry.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I do like a blintz from now and then. Yeah, pastry seems to be such a big thing. Now, the weird thing is you eat a donut in the morning, right? But you never sit down and have a slice of cake. If you had a cake at home and you sliced it and put it down and had it with a cup of coffee, everybody would look at you like you were fucking a maniac. And yet a donut is just really a piece of cake.
My grandma usually, she don't eat her toast with guayaba jam. She usually has Dominican cake for breakfast.
Wait a minute, what kind of jam?
It's guava jam. They call it guayaba, but it's a guava type jam. I don't like it, but she eats that shit like nothing.
What she do, light up a palmon and it's off to a fresh day?
She smokes a cigar in the morning.
Does she really?
Yeah.
I don't know, Johnny. I've seen them come and go. It's the Bronx. It's another Bronx tale. Pete, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey guys, I missed the rider.
Yeah. You know what? The show seems a little sadder without the rider.
That's true.
I hope you had enough money.
In China, and they have nothing over there but fried bread and steamed bread and rice porridge. Oh, and frosted flakes.
Fried bread? It's fucking French toast. Hit it with an egg, a little butter, some syrup. You got a fucking meal for yourself. What are you doing? Just frying it.
The steaming seems even worse. Just soggy bread. That's gross.
Paul, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
The best breakfast ever is a big line of Coke.
Big line of Coke, and then you're off to school. Can't wait for your day to begin.
That's right.
Sitting there in the first fucking period, feeling your numb teeth. I just get up, have a 9:57 Ignite. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey guys, I spent 4 years in Greece, and all these people do, besides the rear, is have toast for breakfast.
Now the weird thing here, a Greek restaurant in this country, a diner, enormous breakfast.
Nothing but toast. Maybe a little ridiculous-looking egg or something they call an egg. That's the ham, which probably really wasn't ham.
We eat a bigger meal at breakfast probably than anyone else in the rest of the world. I mean, we invented the Grand Slam. Which you're saying eggs, toast, pancakes, and 2 different kinds of meat. Hey, Jay, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Buddies, Hawaiian breakfast, Spam, eggs, and white rice.
Now, the Spam thing, as far as I know, only caught on in Hawaii.
And they love it. They're insane for Spam.
Yeah.
And that, again, 3 meals a day.
Always Spam?
Always Spam.
Well, one of the reasons are, Fezzy, it's the only meat they had. They basically, being an island out there, the only meat they were going to get were potted meats, where Spam is the biggest of all the canned meats.
Ugh.
It's the best known. So once, I guess, anything gets into your back, once the stuff that you eat now, it's only because your mom fed it to you when you were a little kid. That's the only fucking reason you like certain foods. Well, look who just came in. Lily, and she's all dressed up like a rocker today. Lily, grab a mic over here and tell Fez what I already know about your love life.
What about my love life?
What we all saw the other night. You are back with...
I'm not back with anybody.
Than.
No.
She spent the evening, her and Than, making goo-goo eyes at each other until, from what I understand, almost 4:30 in the morning.
Wow, so I guess congratulations are in order?
It is. It's real nice for all of us. And we're all saying 2 big thumbs up. Now, in the meantime, there's Bobby Pantera, just feet away. He's dancing with his new girlfriend. Then you have Tenacious C, who stole her old girlfriend. And I'm looking around going, I feel like I'm at the fucking junior prom. Everybody here.
No hard feelings with anybody.
Yeah, I noticed that. Matter of fact, at one point I thought you and Tenacious C were going to make out. You were right up in each other's faces, and it looked like it was going to be some kisses.
That bar 9 must be a magical place, because that was the last place where Lily got together with Than and sent Bobby Pantera packing.
Well, we just go there a lot, drink a lot. But I thought of this the other night. That's where I met Eastside Dave. I look back at the old table that he used to have covered in food, and he would always call me the mayor of Benningtonville, and he would always have these like little fan things. Please, Mr. B, please sit down, Mr. Mayor. You never call me Mr. Mayor anymore. I kind of, it's kind of sad.
I'm bringing that back.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor of the town of Benningtonville.
Let's call me Louis B. Mayor of Benningtonville.
Okay.
So did you notice our Lily seemed like she was a little romantic the other night? And you looked very nice, by the way, Lily. You looked very cute in that in your natural environment of nightclub light.
Oh, yeah. They were all over each other. There was so much kissing and
I left before all that happened.
Touch the knees. That's when you... Always the touching of the knees, and every time someone makes a point, ooh, you hit their knee, and you laugh. That's
now,
what was happening.
You're Albanian, right?
Yeah.
What do your people do for breakfast?
Nothing.
No food at all for breakfast?
No. We'll make like crepes and stuff like that, but it's really nothing that's of our tradition.
There's no
we just
eggs
sort of
at all?
rip it off other people. No.
No, by the way, Fez, I didn't even know this, but you know your egg problem that you have is actually another phobia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, CBS Sunday Morning did a thing on phobias, which was running down yours, and then they go... People have tendencies to be afraid of the same things. Heights come up, closed in, blah, blah, blah. Eggs. And I'm like, I just thought Fez hated eggs, but you're always worried that you can get some weird thing from it too, right? Like it's not safe food for you.
Yeah, like I'm going to get some sort of Ebola or whatever comes off of eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like salmonella. I think an egg is just gross. It's disgusting. It's slimy.
Yeah, it's an aborted chicken.
Well, it's not really always a chicken. A lot of times it's just really,
right,
the period juice. Just think of it as nice period juice is what I like to think.
I don't know how anyone can ever have runny eggs. That just seems...
Could you have eggs like Rocky?
No.
I'm trying to think if there's a type of egg I don't like. I don't think it exists on the planet. I don't think you could prepare an egg any way that I wouldn't go, oh, no, I can't eat that.
You probably wouldn't like turtle eggs. I don't think they're very
That's
appetizing.
not the same thing as an egg, is it?
No. But
I'm saying all the preparation for eggs, whether it's fried or sunny side up, I'll eat any of them.
All right.
But I'm sure you can come up with an ostrich egg, which, you crack it, you see a half an ostrich fucking skull in there. I'm sure I'm going to have a problem with that, but... Oh, look who it is. It's been a long time. Tony Bagels. Hey, Tony.
What's up, buddies?
Hey, buddy.
How's it going? Hey, when I was over in Ethiopia,
yeah,
they had very strange things like toast, eggs, porridge, coffee. It was really wacky.
So the combinations would be odd to you?
Well, yeah, it's just... I couldn't fathom such strange foods for breakfast.
Now when I'm walking down the street in New York, I will always see people, and I know that they're from Europe, eating dry bread. So they'll just go in, get a roll, but they don't put any jelly on it, they don't put any butter on it. They just walk down the street all the time eating a roll that's dry.
I don't know how you could just gnaw on something dry like that with no drink or anything to wash it down. I don't know.
No, they have coffee. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they don't do. Normally, we're not going to just have bread with nothing on top of it. All right, let me go over here to John. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, anybody else in the world hear about scrapple?
Love
That's pretty disgusting. I asked Brock's Johnny. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah, no one outside of Philly is familiar with scrapple. Matter of fact, I was in this conversation the other night with Tenacious C. She and I share the same hunger for haversats, and we have to eat it when we get back to Philadelphia. It's fantastic.
Could you eat it for lunch?
I could eat it any time of the day or night. I find it to be just a fascinating, perfect little meal. Scrapple. It's the snout, it's the balls, it's the hooves, it's all the best part of a pig. But basically a sausage is the same thing, or why you're freaking, or a hot dog.
No, it's Johnny. He's dry heaving right on me.
But pay attention to the fucking show. You're panicking over there. You eat a hot dog, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing. You're eating snout. You're eating fucking lips. You're eating ears. You're eating tail. You're eating balls. The pig does not go to waste.
I didn't know that. What the same as a hot dog? I don't know if I'll ever eat a hot dog again. I
I'll
love
have
hot
one for
dogs.
lunch, and you'll love it. Tim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid. I got the most common breakfast in the United States. Cigarette and a Pepsi. Every day.
Well, that's going to last you long. You get a few good breakfasts out of that.
Hey, let's take a break. It's the Ron and Fez Show.
It's the Ron and Fez Show, XM 202.
Back with the Ron and Fez Show on a Monday, 866-RON-0-FEZ. That's 866-766-0339. Or you can always email us at ronandfez@AOL.com. A Norman Rockwell painting that's been missing since 1973, that's when it was stolen, showed up in Steven Spielberg's art collection. So Steven Spielberg, they're going to decide what's going to become of this Norman Rockwell. I think he paid like $700,000 for it.
Give it back. It's not yours. You buy a stolen bike, you bought somebody else's bike.
This.
Razzle dazzle. It's board gossip with Eastside Dave.
Little gossip, It's board gossip time. Let's start off with FBA, where the gossip team has overheard Sin Fiction and Lee Mells fighting a lot recently. These former lovers were overheard calling each other names. Sin Fiction said Lee Mells was, quote, a big jerk, and Lee Mells responded, calling Sin Fiction, quote, a big bitch, unquote. Ooh la la. Looks like we should change her name to Sin Friction, because she is causing static with Lee Mells. And now, for a new segment called According to Melinda. Yes, according to Anthony's girlfriend Melinda, Fleaman is the newest admin on the Opie and Anthony room in Pal Talk. But Melinda doesn't have high hopes for him, saying, quote, that little piss ant won't last 2 weeks. He's got a very big mouth, unquote. Wow. Ouch. Looks like you better not unpack your things in the O&A room, Flea. You ain't got a future there, according to Melinda.
I like to know things. According to Melinda, it's fun.
And now for a segment I like.
I thought she'd be more in Flea's corner, though. I'm shocked.
Yes, very surprising turn of events. And now for a segment called...
Wait, can I just hear the song one more time?
Sure, Mr. John Denver.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Never heard this before. I heard Sweet Melissa, never Sweet Melinda.
This is Sweet Melinda, John Denver. Very upbeat.
All right,
as
there
we
we
would
go.
say.
Well, let me interrupt.
Okay, now it's time for Old Friends.
Ah, jeez, this one makes me sad.
Destiny. A wonderful girl on FBA, and Tow Truck Tony, two very special friends who used to be old friends. But alas, Destiny was spotted recently with I Don't Care 05. Downing drinks, cuddling, and according to one gossip member, ending up at the Ritz-Carlton. Ay, Chi-Chi. I've heard of Destiny's child, but not Destiny's internet affair. Guess she and Tow Truck Tony are no longer old friends. Old friends. Very sad. Yes, John Denver was very upbeat compared.
Yeah, maybe we'll check in and see what Melinda has to say about how Tow Truck Tony's doing with her.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's much better.
Yeah.
And now for Who Can It Be?
Wow.
One jovial internet girl was spotted on Pal Talk decrying the Ron and Fez big ass room. She was heard saying that room is a waste of space and hosts only internet garbage. Whoa. Did I mention that this girl usually is happy, adept at typing? I wonder, who could it be?
So she's running down the Ron and Fez room?
Very much so. The Mr. Ronnie B, the Ron and Fez big ass room.
Yeah. Hey, what gives her the right? What, is she going to sit around with her little pearl necklace on and her sweater draped over her shoulders, and that makes her better than our room?
Some people think they can wear a yellow headband.
Well, who could it be? That's what I want to know. And when I figure it out...
Now for a segment called I Simply Don't Go That Way. From Whackbag, Tax Cunts was overheard saying...
Who?
Tax Cunts.
That's who does mine.
Yes. And Tax Cunts was overheard saying he'd fuck Eastside Dave for $5. Well, save your money, Tax Cunts, because I simply don't go that way. And now from RonFez.net, it looks like Rockville Joe is resigning as a message board poster. Rockville gave a speech saying, I caught today's show live and actually heard Mr. B upset. I am sad and confused and hereby leave RonFez.net. Upon hearing this speech, RonFez.net...
I can't be upset on this show, or he thinks I'm upset at him?
He thinks you're upset at him.
I have no idea who this person is.
Who's Rockville Joe?
He's a negative poster on RonFez.net. Just one of the many negative posters that's festered that website lately.
Well, I don't know who he is.
Well, upon hearing his speech, RonFez.net member Spoon said, quote, see ya, bitch, unquote. Oh, well, Joe.
Good one, Spoon. I wish I would have thought of that.
Oh, well, Joe, as REM said, don't go back to Rockville. Don't go back to Rockville. And Joe... Don't go back to RonFez.net either. And that's today's Board Gossip. And remember, we're always watching.
Back at you.
Hey, Earl. John, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah.
Can we assume that whenever he does that Who Could It Be Now segment, it's always going to be Happy Typing Girl?
Who? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Happy typing?
Don't ruin it for the rest of us.
We've never been able to crack the code.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out.
All right, sorry, guys.
Bye. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Hey, Dennis, show on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies, what's up? Listen, I love this segment, but Dave, if you're not going to do the voice, then don't do the segment anymore.
That's
I
the
noticed
voice.
that the voice.
No.
Yeah.
I listened back to Board Gossip number 1 today.
Well, now you're doing the voice there, smart guy.
You
weren't
did
doing
it
before.
I was doing it, sir. Thank you.
I noticed this.
I love it. Thank you.
You can't seem to do the voice unless you're looking deep into Sheepy's eyes.
No, that's simply not true. Mr. B, mayor of Benningtonville, yes. Professor Watley of Watley University.
Thank you.
How odd that he's the Professor Watley of Watley University.
That one wasn't as well thought out as the other.
Really, mayor of Benningtonville isn't all that thought out either. Neither is the Who Could It Be Now and
yes,
Old Friends and
true.
What Melinda says.
According to Melinda is that segment. Thank you.
When did she say this? The other night when you were drinking?
Yes.
I noticed that Aunt and Melinda have gotten very chummy with you.
Yes,
they think very much of you.
Yes, I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
And we had a great time on Friday. And I thought, like, in my head, it went so swimmingly, so great. And then I heard on today's Opie and Anthony show, Anthony had some comments.
Oh, let me hear.
So Eastside Dave was completely drunk from Ron and Fez's show and just dumped hot wax from the candle on his arm and started doing that woman scream he does when he's in pain.
Yeah.
And then poured his drink on it, and he's just a mess. I've never seen someone drink so much, ever.
And he's always on, right?
Yeah, he's like always... He orders 2 like Jack and Cokes at a time, and then forgets he has them, so orders 2 more, and then he'll keep drinking like 4 at a time, to where at the end of the night he was laying down like slumped on one of the couches trying to eat potato chips, and it wasn't a bit or anything. He'd take the potato chip, put it up about 6 inches from his mouth, with his eyes all half shut, and he's weaving, and he would drop the chip on his chest and start chewing. Like, well, just in case I got it in my mouth, I better chew or I'll choke. Just a mess. But it was fun.
Well, see, at least you have fun there, but the rest of that...
Yeah,
quite horrifying.
But the thing is this. You, as the night goes on, you get worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Till finally, I see because you were not like this when I left.
No.
At 1 o'clock.
No.
But people sent me pictures of you, and your ass was out of your pants.
Yeah, how did
you
that
were
happen?
climbing around on the floor.
I know.
And it was in front of Aunt Melinda, and you're just being, like, purposefully disgusting.
I don't think I was purposely trying to do anything, but...
Do you remember these things the next day?
No.
Like, you don't remember, like, pouring hot wax on your arms?
As soon as Mr. B left, I kind of don't remember the last few hours of that. Yeah.
Then how do you know?
You know, when I left, I kind of had that feeling that Bill Murray feels at the end of Meatballs, where he leaves Rudy with the other kids, and he's like, remember how he's thinking, like, oh, Rudy's doing okay for himself now. Doesn't really need me around anymore. Because he was really kind of holding court and being fun, but the reality of drinking is this. No one does it well. If you stay out long enough,
right,
you will look like a fucking idiot.
And on the same pace. You know, I think that's my problem. I start I do the double fisting to get started.
Right.
And sometimes even to go for the first hour and a half.
All right, here's the thing. Double fisting is cute for a high school kid.
Yeah, no, I know.
You can even put up with it, but it comes across a little lame in a college kid.
Right.
Now you're 29. You're looking down the barrel of 30.
Yeah.
A guy with 2 drinks doing that now at your age is an alcoholic.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean...
Oh, and here's something else about you living a fucking baby lifestyle.
Okay.
And I forgot all about this. So, there's a couple women that are interested in him now that he seems to be breaking up with his girl. So I told him about one. I said, contact Dave. He already knows about it. He would like to go out with you.
Sure.
So she's like, yes, sure, that sounds great. I would like to go out. The fucking guy says to her, and she says, maybe we can go out to dinner, do something like that. What does this fucking redheaded idiot say to her? Let's get together and play Connect 4. He fucking brings up a childish fucking game that he wants to do with her. This 12-year-old thing has got to stop.
Well, no.
Then Casey Elon, you're going, oh, Mr. B, did I tell you what she sent me? Go ahead and tell Fez.
Yeah, she sent me a Star Wars Millennium Falcon, a Mankind water bottle, and something else very nice, too. Oh, an Elvis mug. So I was blown away by that. She's a very special person.
I know, but she's treating you like a nephew.
No! I find those gifts to be, those are what I want. I don't...
I know, that's the problem.
I don't want an end table. Or,
but that's a hot chick. I want you to see her as a woman.
Yeah, I do. I do, though. I think that those things are quite grown up, done in the right spirit.
But she's not going to be sitting around with some kind of blue, white, and gold sweatband on, wasting her life.
Yeah.
She's looking for a real man.
That's right. That's me,
you
baby.
Should start acting like a man.
I am. I pay the bills. I pay the Con Ed. That's what manly things do.
But
yeah, but I... Go ahead, Fez. I stepped on you twice.
I'm sorry. With the Connect 4 comment, was it... are you trying to self-sabotage that thing, or are you really that goofy?
That was me trying to be nice. And I mean, I appreciate that, but I didn't want to go out to dinner with the chick because I do have my eye on someone else,
Why do you even have to say that as a man?
What do you mean?
You don't let them know that. You don't yell out things like that. I don't go out to dinner because I got my eye on someone else.
Well, I know. That's why
just in a long relationship.
So but that's why I said the Connect Four. That's why I said the Connect Four. And I mean, it's angering. It's angering enough to give the bird or whatnot.
Right.
Well, and I was like, hey, can I tell you something else that just happened recently?
Yeah.
I was really surveying my apartment there to see what kind of stuff West Side took from my apartment, and guess what she took?
Your balls?
Not that, but a suitcase filled with all my clothes. My suitcase filled with all my clothes.
How do you know?
I know because it's not there.
Yeah, but you don't know that she took it. You don't want to jump to that conclusion.
What are you talking about? There's no one else who could have taken it. That had my best pair of jeans. That had my Las Vegas shirt that I was wearing at the Big Ass Bash.
Why was it all in a suitcase? Were you planning on running away from home?
No, I had packed it. I had packed it in my suitcase for the Big Ass Bash for different things that I could wear that night, and then I just haven't taken it, and it's gone now.
Hey, J-Dubs.
What's going on, guys? When we were down in New York and we went to Bar 9, Eastside Dave showed up there and got so drunk that he pulled his pants down and tried to take a shit at the bar.
No.
Where at?
Yes. That's true. Right at the bar, and the bouncer had to come up and say, hey, don't shit at the bar.
You tried to take your shit on the floor of Bar 9?
No.
That's absolutely true.
You were there?
I saw it, yeah.
Why did you bring this up on the air? Why do I get to hear this from J-Dubs? Dubs, what did you do? Were you just mortified?
I just turned my head and couldn't watch him.
And Casey Elon, you honestly think is interested in you?
Yeah, that's right. Dave and Casey, baby. DC Connection. Recognize.
I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
Well, listen, these are things that happen in the wee hours when It
was 1:30.
I know, it wasn't that late.
Hours.
I could be drinking for a week. I'm not going to shit on a bar.
I didn't try that. I didn't. That is rumor and hearsay as far as I'm concerned. Dubs, I was just trying to get comfortable, and my pants happened to slip.
All right, Dubs, you heard this story that the Penn show's over, right?
I've heard about that. I didn't know if it was true or not.
Yeah, it is true. So I don't know what they're doing over there. You guys calling Manelli back?
Manelli's supposed to get a hold of us this week, so we're going to give it till Wednesday and see if he calls us. If not, we'll call him.
All right.
So
what about our guys here? You ever hear from the Bandwidth Brothers?
No, I haven't heard from them. I'm sure they've got enough on their plate.
I don't even know what that means. All right, Dubs, you're a good man. And I'm sorry you had to see this fucking disgusting act.
No, Dubs.
It was terrific.
Me and Dubs are pals.
We are.
Dave, it seems like you might have a fucking drinking problem.
No.
You tried to shit on the floor.
I didn't. That didn't happen.
Did it, Fez?
He tried. It didn't happen because he was stopped by a bouncer.
His pants were down. Was his underwear down?
He was down to his boxers, and he does this real defiant thing where he's all drunk up, and he's like, "Okay, fine," and the belt comes undone, and then the jeans come down, and there's the boxers. That's when the bouncer stepped in.
Well, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to think about what happened there, but I don't think that's inaccurate.
And I don't understand why you get so defiant. Trust me, no one had dared you not to shit on the floor of Bar 9.
Well, there was some Doors music being played, and
time to shit on the floor, y'all.
I get that Jim Morrison thing. If the Doors are on the jukebox.
Daddy got drunk and took a shit on the floor, so she went down.
Well, my favorite scene in that movie is when Morrison is urinating on the bar.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think, like, in my head, I'm going to reenact that. But I'm going to upstage him.
I don't get it. Now, you are still definitely into the Casey Elon thing, right?
Yes.
Now, is that a 70s bush, or does she have a dog on her lap?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
What is that all about?
There's certain animals that she lives with, yes. One of them has 3 legs. But this isn't really relevant to the radio show.
All right. I'm just trying to see if you were saying you're interested.
Yes.
You're done with your chick, right?
Yeah.
That's over.
Yep, there was like 8 hours of phone calls yesterday that had to be made. My mom sobbing. It was fucking depressing.
You didn't lie to her about it, did you?
No, I didn't. I feel real good about that.
Wait, your mom was crying?
Yeah, because it was, but
she thinks you're going to end up a retard now.
Yeah.
That was your last chance.
Who's going to stop you from shitting on the floor?
No, that's just not accurate. Yeah, my mom she just really wants grandkids, and she knows, like one of my brothers said, they're not planning on having one until 2010 or something. Another one of my brothers I don't think he's going to have kids, and then my one brother is a little, wiggly in the wrist,
Yeah.
So she thought that I was going to be the one to maybe have children, but I told her, no, I'm not interested right yet. Not until like my 40s, maybe.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you. Yeah. I definitely don't think you should have kids. I'm fucking petrified at the thought of another fucking bar shitter going on to another generation. I find it despicable.
I think when I have kids, they'll change me. All those
No, it doesn't happen that way.
No?
If anything, it just makes you resent them and hate them, secretly hate them. Every parent, every father secretly hates their children. Really? You know how your dad secretly hates you?
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah. Earl, would you say that your dad secretly hates you?
Without question.
Fez?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I broke the chain in my family, and I told my children, I hate you guys. So let's get that out of the way. You stopped me from having fun.
Okay.
And then I regained fun and almost died. All right, so that's what that's all about. Well, I don't see you coming up with another girl. Yeah. I don't see it happening for you.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen.
Casey lives where?
Well, I mean, she lives in North Carolina.
All right, so that's a long commute for this one-nighter. But you don't even want to date the other girls because you're keeping your heart out for Casey.
Well, I mean, I wasn't, I didn't know if I was going to discuss this on the radio.
Yeah, I think you should.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of accurate.
She's your A number one.
Yeah.
So we had, I had a girl for you, E-Rock had a girl. Yeah. You're blowing them off.
Yeah.
Because you have feelings for Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I like her a lot when we talk and stuff. Again, I really didn't want to mention this publicly, but sure, yeah, that's true.
Do you think that's the best idea, to blow off other options?
Well, I mean,
when you're in your situation, and by that I mean being Eastside Dave.
I'm not saying like fuck you to the girls. I'm saying
right. You're saying I want to do something else.
Yeah, I'm saying hey,
But I mean, you're kind of coming out of one relationship.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
I saw it. Wouldn't you be mortified? I would be. I would be fucking mortified if I found out Eastside Dave liked me. It's like the one at the retard in school like show.
It's just not true. I mean,
Kissing.
It's not.
Well, why didn't you try to date around for a while before you attempted to leap back into another relationship?
I'm not saying there's a fucking, I'm not saying like I'm going to get married or this or that. Jesus. Yeah. But I'm saying.
I think she's sweet on you. I think she loves you.
I don't know.
I think it's like one of those cartoons where hearts are spinning all around her.
Really?
Yeah.
Can Mars fix the air conditioning here? Because I am, it's very hot in here all of a sudden. Very warm.
It's getting hot in here. So
Nelly was right, man.
So you are not going to date anybody else?
I mean, I appreciate all those other chicks who have a liking in me. I think that's great. That makes me very happy. Obviously, who wouldn't? But I'm not. Yeah. Oh boy, I feel like a stumbling, bumbling, fucking asshole. That's what
You didn't feel that way when you poured wax on yourself or tried to shit on the floor.
Right.
None of that. And by the way, you're doing this in front of other radio shows.
Yes, I know.
The WNEW show gets to see you. The Hideout show gets to see you. You don't care how you represent.
Dave, you did the dry hump in front of Anthony, pretty much the entire O&A crew when you did that.
What?
And I wheeled around. I went because I didn't see him coming. And you know what I mean.
Felt the wetness.
No, I just felt this guy like rubbing against me, and I just spun around. I went to hit him. It was Dave, and he was laughing at me.
And he's grabbing your cock.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I didn't.
He was like he was thrusting against my ass, and then he was trying to do like the reach around on my freaking balls. And I was like,
was he aroused?
I couldn't tell.
I was hugging you. You are so fucking homophobic. You can't take a fucking hug from a hug
or a potential blowjob. What was it?
It was a hug.
That was a thrust, Dave. I know the difference between a hug and a thrust.
It was slippery in there. If I happened to, touch crotch, floors were slippery. what it's like in here right now.
Why don't you tell Casey how you feel then? Just tell her.
You know, really, Ronnie. I mean, I like her. Yeah, she's nice. She's great.
Mm-hmm.
And things of that nature.
What is it that you like about her?
I like...
When you say things of that nature, you sound like a fucking idiot. Just talk about her. What is so special about her?
I like that she likes baseball. And I like that she has good taste in movies and rock and roll. And she's a pretty girl, too.
You're honestly 4 years old.
I mean, we have a nice... If we talk on the phone sometimes, there seems to be a nice vibe.
She talks on the phone with you?
Yes.
That happens a lot?
Yes, I would say so.
How often?
Is this why you broke off your relationship?
No, it's not.
It totally is.
It's
you
not.
know it, Ron. That is totally it. He had this...
I like it because she likes baseball and grapefruit. And she smells like flowers.
This is horrifying. Please. Yeah. You're embarrassing myself so much. You're embarrassing her, I'm sure.
Why would she be embarrassed? The retard likes her. What's wrong with that?
I have a 110 IQ.
Bullshit.
I do. I got fucking 1350s on my SATs. I graduated college with a 3.5.
It took you 9 years to graduate college.
But nevertheless, the average was 3.5.
So tell her what you think of her then. You're so fucking brilliant.
I like her.
Express yourself.
I like her a lot. I think she's a great person. I think...
What, are you angry now?
I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at...
No. Why are you being angry? Why don't you say it in a nice way?
I like her a lot. I think she's a great chick.
Who?
Oh, can I just have some water? Casey. And I think she's very special.
Water.
All right, thanks. You didn't have to throw it.
Oh, I thought you wanted to catch it.
Yeah,
well, you should be cooled off, though.
A sip of it.
What is it about Casey that you love?
Love? No, I mean, come on, let's not try and ruin things, everyone. I like that.
Does she like you? So be it. Does she like you? You think?
I think so, but I think so. Yeah.
No, she's not dating anyone now.
I don't think so.
Have you asked her? And all these late night baseball talks that you and her are...
The trade talks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, I don't
Does
Really?
How long are you going to pursue this?
She may or may not be coming up in a week or so. We may or may not be going to the Pogues rock and roll concert.
Wow.
Together.
That's romantic.
As friends and people who like one another.
Where will she be staying in New York? Will she be staying in your fucking dirt floor basement apartment in Queens?
If she's lucky.
Why don't you fucking seriously rent a fucking hotel room that weekend so she doesn't see the way you live?
She's seen it. She's seen it already.
She's been to your house?
Yeah, just we were.
Whoa!
Stop it!
Did you do the devil's business?
No.
Maybe she stole the suitcase.
You know, I hope she's just not listening to this. This is really.
I don't like to hear that kind of talk.
It's not what I had planned.
Holy shit! I never in a million years thought she went to your place.
I had. Well, we had to go to the.
So she's the reason why you broke up with your chick.
No, it's not.
Absolutely, because this came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere.
That's not the reason. Okay, things have been bad for months.
You sound like Polo.
But
you honestly are Polo.
But at least at this point, notice the complete difference between when your chick left you the first time and the second time.
Sure.
Now you could just care less. It is carefree to the wind.
Right. But, okay, that's an excellent point, Fez. But, I don't know what to say to that.
Cheyenne, you're on Fez.
Yeah, I just had a question for Dave. I want to know how the hell he keeps getting back into all these bars and how he thinks he's going to get a good woman to stay with him when he acts like an ass and tries to shit on people. And
Physically, yeah. Let me ask you, does Casey drink like you? Is she a hard drinker?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Did she have drinks when she went out?
When we went to the FBA party, neither of us drank that night.
Why didn't you drink? You didn't want her to know the real you?
Absolutely not. I was hungover like a banshee from the big-ass bash. I mean, if I had even a sip of, and I tried. I got some booze in me. I almost threw up instantly. So
we're gonna start and call her Upper West Side Casey because we had West Side Claire, but now it's time for Upper West Side Casey.
No.
Because you're going up in the world, and I think that's beautiful.
No,
I think that's fantastic.
No.
So, are we all down with that name for her now?
I'm not.
I'm in. Upper West Side Casey.
That's a shame.
I'm in.
Thank you, Earl.
Of course.
Earl, first time ever you've been in.
Backstabber. Well, this is a way to ruin
or make it?
Ruin, I think, but that's all right.
Why don't you dedicate this song to your new girl, Upper West Side? Go ahead.
Right.
Say what?
You're ruining everything.
How am I ruining it?
We logged hours and hours on the phone.
Well, I mean, this is the way you're talking now?
I like her. Fuck it. Let the world know.
You're in love with Upper West Side.
What's wrong with that? That's nice.
So if you don't respond to my calls anymore, Casey, I understand. Yeah. This didn't go the way I had planned.
What did you have planned?
Just discreetly having maybe a possible relationship bud like a flower. Not this kind of nonsense.
I am actually shocked that you are attracted to someone without a penis. Because I heard you shit on floors, you hump black men. So I had no idea.
That's all gossip, everyone. What is she holding up? That's all inaccurate.
DC,
Dave. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dave loves Casey.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that what you guys call yourself, the DC Connection?
Pretend we're superheroes.
Is that real? You fucking idiot. Hey, with the DC Connection.
Well, now it's DUW.
All right.
Upper West Side.
Well, my life's been crumbled again.
All right. Dave's in love.
Oh, come on.
See you guys tomorrow right after O&A.
That's the end of my show. Donk.
Ron Bennington, Fez Wadley, The Ron and Fez Show.
XM 202.